Good evening, everybody. We are live. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening for another Power Couple live stream. I am one half of the Power Couple, Joseph, and I am going to be your conductor for tonight's fun train as we now move from Final Fantasy XIV to the Nintendo Switch 4, some Fire Emblem Three Houses. Very, very excited to start to take this on and to play with you guys. This is episode 1 of our Let's Play Fire Emblem Three Houses. We are going to be taking this from the very beginning of the game. I want you guys to participate, give feedback, let us know what house you want to join, what kind of decisions you want to make. This is a backseat gaming honestly, really, I'm so excited to have you guys to play with me. I've got my own personal account, and this is just going to be an extravaganza of working with you guys to playing an account that we can all share together. So I am extremely excited for that. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you are brand new, please follow. Every follow absolutely counts as we make our way and build our community. If you're looking to see any of our previous videos, head over to our videos on demand. All of our previous streams are there. Unfortunately, we have a 14-day limit because we're not affiliate yet at this point. So please, if they're not there and you have later streams that you want to go watch, head over to our YouTube channel. That and all of our other social media outlets can be found underneath the stream. If you head down, click the button, it'll bring you right there to where you want to be. Follow us over on there as well for updates regarding Power Couple content and when we're going to be online for you guys to watch. Other than that, head over to YouTube. You have all of our streams up on YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell for getting updates as to when we are on and live. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Let's see here. Ashy, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. I haven't had a chance to read everything you put there yet, but I will in a matter of seconds. Just going to wrap this up and say hello again. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, let's get down to business. Alright guys, like I said, super excited to be playing some Fire Emblem Three Houses with you guys. We're going to start off with a brand new game. Again, Ashley, thank you very much for joining. They are saying, I am very sorry because I have to charge my phone soon, but I will try to be here for at least half of the first stream. I'm almost done reading my summer reading book. Hopefully this is a little more entertaining than the summer reading book. By all means, you have things that you need to do. I'm just happy that you're here. Very thankful that you're here. And for everyone else who is tuning in to watch, very thankful to have you guys. With that, like I said, this is complete. I'm hoping to make this into madness. Everybody in the chat, come on in, give some feedback. Let's figure out what we can do. I'm going to start off just for now. We're going to do normal because I'm not a super awesome Fire Emblem player. If I were to go to hard, or if I were to do classic, I would probably end up losing most of my class, and it would be a very, very sad stream because it would just be Blyleth alone, and everyone else would be dead. Let's connect to the network because why not? I have a Wi-Fi connection. Let's jump on. Like I said, Fire Emblem, really enjoyed playing Fates, really enjoyed playing, really honestly, I've been playing the last few Fire Emblem installations and really happy to be taking this on. And, I mean, things are starting off madness. You're starting off right in the middle of some form of a battlefield. We've got some form of a relic being taken out from the ground, and just all-out war for us to watch. You guys will have to let me know how everything's lining up in terms of audio. I'm trying my best to make this work. So this is the first stream with the Switch, so you'll have to let me know if everything's working and all the audio is fine. This is a bad girl right here going up against homeboy here, holding up her own. She's doing good. This guy's wielding some kind of weapon that is almost similar to what you find in old Soul Calibur. So I'm kind of taken aback by that. I forget the character's name, but she was like a really weird, hypersexualized character that had the whip and a sword. That was kind of nuts.
Tell me, Nemesis, do you recall the Red Canyon? You'll die! 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 You took everything that I loved!
A little bit of overkill. Think he's dead.
He's gone now, Mother.
It's cool. I'm just gonna hug a bloody sword up to my face and get said blood all over my face. So Ashy is saying that they had a mobile Fire Emblem game and that they were temporarily into it. However, they got bored at some point and they haven't played in months.
Oh my. What could have brought you here? I wonder how you got in here.
So actually, I had Fire Emblem Heroes. I think that's the game that you were referring to. I had it on my mobile phone too. I played that for a while, but kind of like you, after a little while, it ended up getting a little repetitive and boring, and I just had to get rid of it eventually myself.
It is most rude to interrupt a moment of repose. Very rude indeed. Now come to me. I wish to have a look at you.
So this one looks a little close in image to whoever that woman was that was absolutely raking it up on the battlefield, taking out quote unquote Nemesis. All right, so we got to pick a form here, guys. Do we have any input whatsoever? Should we go with the male or the female Byleth? What do you guys think? Should we go with the male or the female? I'll give it a little bit to see if we get any input from the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna go to match me, and I'll go with the male Byleth unless we have some form of opinion otherwise. So. I know it's a difficult choice, right, Ashy? It's decisions. I'm leaning towards the male Byleth. That's kind of where I would lay my hat. Alright, so we're gonna go with the male version of the main character.
I have not seen the likes of you before. Who are you anyway?
Alright. I guess now we're going to mention whether or not if we're a ghost, a demon, or a mortal. I don't know really the backstory of the main character, but looks like a human, so it's gonna go with a mortal.
I see. Then you must have a name of sorts. Go on.
Okay, so Byleth is the name that is with the character naturally. No, that's not stupid at all, Ashy. Not at all. I'm gonna stick with the main name that they give this character.
I shall not ever grow accustomed to the sound of human names. You must possess a day of birth as well. Beneath which moon and on what day were you born to this world?
Alright, let's see. We've got how many months here? So there's 12 months as if it were to reflect the regular calendar. So let's go with today's date. So we'll go with 8/12, so it matches the day and month of today when we are making this character together. So we'll go with that.
Well, wonders never cease. It seems we share our day of birth. How strange.
I'll try and take some time to wait a couple of seconds before I make a decision on some form of a multiple choice question, because it just hit me now that you guys are probably getting about a 5-second delay or so. So I'll look to wait for the chat, see if anything happens. If I end up seeing something, then I'll make the decision based on that.
It all feels so familiar. I think it may be time for yet another nap.
So our tired friend here.
It's almost time to begin.
Basically just asked us what we were, our name, our date of birth, and then went back to sleep.
Hey, time to wake up. Were you having that dream again?
So we've got Geralt asking us if we're having a dream. I was dreaming about war, or I was dreaming about a young girl. So this one seems a little compromising, that if you were to go to someone and they said, oh wow, you know, was it that dream again? And then you go, I was dreaming of a young girl. That, I feel like that would be an awkward way to open up that conversation, so I'm gonna go, I was dreaming about a war.
Massive armies clashing on a vast field, right? There hasn't been a battle like that in over 3 centuries. In any case, just put that out of your mind for now. The battlefield is no place for idle thoughts. Risking your life is part of the job for mercenaries like us. Letting your mind wander is a sure way to get yourself killed. Okay, time to get moving. Our next job is in the kingdom. I told you before, it's far from here, so we'll need to leave at dawn.
Alright, so I told you before, it's far from here, so we'll need to leave at dawn. Are we going to be a little more dismissive or carefree and kind of just go, oh, alright, or are we just going to be very stern? Are we going to follow a schedule and we have everything already planned out and ready to go and say, of course? I'm a fan of course, because I would rather that we're, he looks like he's a very, like, pensive, very serious thinking kind of character, so I would kind of go with of course would be the answer for that one.
Oh, good grief. Everyone is already waiting for us outside.
Apparently Gerald liked us saying that, so that's positive.
Gerald, sir, sorry to barge in, but your presence is needed.
What's happened?
Yeah, I agree, Ashy. That felt like a little bit of a creepy answer, so we'll go with war.
Please forgive our intrusion. We wouldn't bother you with a situation not dire.
Alright, so Dimitri and appears 2 of his friends, they're all dressed very similarly with different colored garbs, come up and
What do a bunch of kids like you want at this hour?
We're being pursued by a group of bandits. I can only hope that you will be so kind as to lend your support.
Bandits? Here?
It's true. They attacked us while we were at rest in our camp.
We've been separated from our companions and we're outnumbered. They're after our lives, not to mention our gold.
I'm impressed you're staying so calm considering the situation. Wait, that uniform.
So apparently the uniform means something.
Bandit spotted just outside the village. Damn, there are a lot of them.
I guess they followed you all the way here. We can't abandon this village now. Come on, let's move. Hope you're ready.
Always ready, Gerald. Always ready. Alright, so let's go ahead and save so we don't miss out on anything. Be a shame if we have to do all that all over again.
Let's take care of those thieves before they overrun the village. Take down the enemies in front first. That should take the wind out of their sails.
Stay focused.
So weapon
Ready and
durability,
willing.
need to make sure that we're going to keep an eye on that. That becomes a little bit more of a important feature when you get your right, because now you have to start taking into consideration
It was a good try.
durability that is not great for a weapon that you definitely want to maintain and use. So there's a resting feature that will eventually come into that is, like I said, very important for us to keep track of.
I will prevail.
We'll advance while protecting ourselves from the enemy.
So they're now introducing terrain effects, which, like I said, gets a little more complicated as we get a little bit deeper into the game. But for right now, it's just forest, so that gives you a little bit of increased, as it shows. I think it'll show 30% avoidance and a little extra defense. So we will make sure that we're not going to get hit by anybody by waiting up here. We'll take a 1-hit penalty. I otherwise would have been able to start attacking.
Yes.
Or they would have attacked me had I just gone a little bit closer, but I want to make sure that everything's going to be protected in the bushes just because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Make sure that Claude here is not going to get harmed by anybody, and now they're all in a great position to properly attack with the least amount of damage. So we've got Dimitri. Dimitri's a lance user. We've got Claude being a bow
It's
user.
a fine opportunity. Use the combat arts I taught you.
And we've got Edelgard, who is an axe user, for now. Alright, combat arts. Let's see. Who do I want to use that on? Let's use it on the guy with the least amount of health. No. That's okay. I'll manage.
Who's next?
Well, how was that?
Those guys. Combat art. Wrath Strike. Taking out the final key.
That is that.
We should be good to keep moving. Block takedown.
Damn! Why are there mercenaries in the village? Guess we'll have to deal with them too.
Attack when an ally is nearby, and the enemy will be intimidated, making them easier to hit.
Alright, linked attack. So when you attack an enemy that's also in attack range of one or more of your other units, you will trigger a linked attack. During the linked attack, your avoidance and hit rate are higher than normal. Linked attacks between certain units will also raise might, being the amount of damage that you do. And good use of linked attacks is key to defeating powerful enemies, and linked attacks will also build support among the units that are involved. And if you've got that green icon on an enemy, then congratulations, you are hopefully going to get an item that you like. You're going to get an item, there's no doubt about that. It's just a matter of making sure, hopefully it's one you like. We're going to let Dimitri take the brunt of these attacks. He's strong enough to take them. We'll have all the characters back on Violet. He's our ranged unit. We're going to attack Costas here, the bandit. Let's take him out now with Dimitri.
I must keep aiming higher.
Ashy, there was a worm on a chip bag that you were trying to open. My apologies. That's definitely not something that you want to find with your chip bag. Costas is very angry. Oh. And that's the end of Fire Emblem's Three Houses. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Have a good one. No, joking. That's not the end of the story.
Honestly, what are you accomplishing with that little stunt? It's like you're trying to get me killed, you fool. Well, it's fine. After all, if you don't know the value of your own life, you're not going to protect it very well, are you? Course not. Well then, I guess it's up to me to guide you from now on, right? You can call me Sothis, but I'm also known as the Beginning.
Who's the end? That's my question.
Sothis. Yes, that is it. My name is Sothis. And I am also called the Beginning. But who once called me that? I was not able to recall my name until just now. And just that look upon your face. Did you think me a child? A mere child who forgot her own name?
For a second, yes.
Phooey! That child's just saved your life. And what does that make you?
What does that make us? Well, I am indeed no child. But I'm less than a child if I somehow...
Correct. You understand.
Alright. I win.
You threw yourself before an axe to save just one young girl.
Which was a dumb move. For someone who's supposed to be a mercenary, you should know better than to throw your back at someone who's charging at someone, at least.
Yet all is well, as I have stalled the flow of time for now. You would have died had I not intervened.
But I mean, let's just be honest. They wouldn't be able to introduce this had he acted like a seasoned mercenary like he's supposed to be.
There now. Is gratitude so much to ask? I did deem you worth saving after all. Though it is only momentary, time has stopped. However did I manage that?
I guess a good question is, what will happen when time resumes?
When time begins again, the axe will tear into your flesh and you will surely meet your end.
Lovely.
How rude of you to drag me into this. Now what to do?
Alright, so we're gonna go full on share and if I could turn back time. Or are we... No, we're not going to, we're not gonna freeze time and stay there and wait to die. It just doesn't seem like an appropriate one. So we're gonna ask to see if we can turn back the hands of time. We'll go on and full on share it if
I
we
must
can.
turn back the hands of time. Yes, I do believe it can be done. You really are quite troublesome. I cannot wind back time too far, but all is well. You are aware of what's to come, which means you can protect yourself this time.
Certainly hope so.
Now go! Yes, you who bears the flames within. Drift through the flow of time to find the answers that you seek.
So, I'm trying to make it seem like I haven't watched all this stuff before, but I have. This is now my second, playthrough. And there's so many little things that you now recognize and see during your second playthrough that you didn't catch before in the first time that you were watching it. So there's a lot of little hints that they throw you that become a little more clear as you go. So turning back time is actually a pretty big feature in the game. A little bit easier. And like a true mercenary. Now he actually faces his opponent rather than turning his back to it. And now he looks like a G.
Hey, over here!
Huh?
So time travel, or at least in this case, becomes a big,
did you just...
a big part of this, and it certainly makes playing on a hard mode or on a classic mode a little bit easier, just because there are some pretty hard maps as you continue moving forward and you progress through the game. So if you do mess up and you do lose a character, at least you can turn back the hands of time and not lose that character you
The
like.
Knights of Seros are here. We'll cut you down for terrorizing our students. Hey, the thieves are running away. Go after them.
Alois. I find him to be a little weird and creepy, but that's alright.
The students seem to be unharmed. And who's this?
Why him?
Apparently Geralt's not a big fan either, even though they've, spoiler alert, have history. Dimitri's our MVP for this round. Alright, right over that. So I think it's cool that they give you the online statistics in between.
Captain Gerald? It is you! Goodness, it's been ages!
In between you're playing as it loads up the next chapter. So it's cool to see what other people are manning in terms of their groups and who they play most often. And it's uniformly, or at least unanimously, it's Dorothea seems to be everyone's playing her the most in their run-throughs.
Don't you recognize me? It's Alois, your old right-hand man. Well, that's how I always thought of myself anyway.
I have some pretty strong feelings about where the character from Fort Dorothea came from, but we can cross that bridge when we get there. I don't need to hash out all of my gripes right off the
It
bat.
must have been 20 years ago that you went missing without a trace. I always knew you were still alive.
So apparently Geralt just went missing for 20 years. Assumably, for me, I look at that and say that has to be about the age of Violet. They're right around there.
You haven't changed a bit, Alois, just as loud as ever. And drop that captain nonsense. I'm not your captain anymore. These days, I'm just a wandering mercenary, one who has work to do. Goodbye, old friend.
Right. Goodbye, Captain. Wait, that isn't how this ends. I insist that you return to the monastery with me.
Garreg Mach Monastery. I suppose this was inevitable.
And how about you, kid? Are you the captain's child?
Are we, though? He's a stranger to me, we can say. we can say that I'm a bandit, which doesn't seem like a very smart answer because we just got done killing all the bandits, so either he's a stranger to me or that is correct. Kind of seems like the appropriate answers, but he is a stranger to me would kind of be like a, you know, like this is a strange man who offered me candy, and I probably, you know, don't want to be around this guy anymore. I feel like Geralt's a cool guy,
Is that
so we know
so?
this is correct.
Well, physical differences aside, your mannerisms do remind me of the captain. I'd love for you to see the monastery too. You will join me, won't you?
Gerald's not too pleased about us going back to the monastery.
What's troubling you, Captain? You aren't about to run off again, are you?
Even I wouldn't dare run from the Knights of Saros.
The Knights of Saros. They do seem rather skilled. Ah, it seems your presence is required. Get going.
I appreciate your help back there. Your skill is beyond question. You're clearly an experienced mercenary. And your father, that would be Gerald, the Bladebreaker? Former captain of the Knights of Saros, oft praised as the strongest knight to ever live. Have I missed anything?
So we can question what the Knights of Saros are, or say that I didn't know he was a captain. Let's just ask the Knights of Saros. Who the heck are you guys?
You haven't heard of the Knights of Saros? The most famous order of knights in all of Fodlan.
Hey, you are coming with us to the monastery, right? Of course you are. I'd love to bend your ear as we travel. Oh, I should mention that the three of us are students of the Officers' Academy at Garrigmach Monastery. We were doing some training exercises when those bandits attacked. I definitely got the worst of it.
That would be because you ran off.
Too true. I was the first to make a strategic retreat. Everything would have worked out if these two hadn't followed me and ruined everything. Because of them, every single one of those bandits chased after us. Utterly ridiculous.
Ah, so that's what you were thinking, Claude. And here I thought you were acting as a decoy for the sake of us all.
His intentions were as clear as day. You will prove a lacking ruler if you cannot see the truth behind a person's words.
You will prove a lacking ruler yourself if you look for deceit behind every word and fail to trust those whom you rely on.
Oh, joy. A royal debate between their highnesses. I wonder how being completely predictable affects one's ability to wield power. Personally, as the embodiment of distrust, I'd say your little exchange smacks of naivete.
Me, naive. Tell me, are you actually incapable of keeping quiet, or is your lack of self-awareness a condition of some sort?
In any case, forgive our digression. I must speak with you if you can spare a moment. The way you held your ground against the bandits' leader was captivating. You never lost control of the situation. It showed me I still have much to learn.
Your skill is precisely why I must ask you to consider lending your services to the Empire. I might as well tell you now, I am no mere student. I am also the Adrestian Empire's...
Halt, Edelgard. Please allow me to finish my own proposition. The Holy Kingdom of Fargus is in dire need of exceptional individuals like yourself. Please, do consider returning to the kingdom with me.
Whoa there, you two sure are hasty. Trying to recruit someone you just met. Tactless, really.
I'm a big fan of Claude, just for the record. My own personal file, I followed the Golden Deer, and Claude, for now at least, is my favorite character, hands down.
I was personally planning to develop a deep and lasting friendship on our journey back to the monastery before begging for favors. But it seems there's no time for niceties in this world. So, capable stranger, let's get right to it. Where does your allegiance lie?
It seems one's place of birth is quite significant to them. Yet they are so impressed by you that you may take your pick. Well,
So are we to be, you know, part of the Adrestian Empire, land of ancient history, the colder northern lands of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, land of noble knights, or are we going to go over to the east with the Leicester Alliance burgeoning league of nobles? So I know for me, I'm already playing the Leicester Alliance. I'm doing the Golden Deer run through, so this isn't the official decision. Doesn't matter what you really choose here. From my understanding, we're going to be able to pick what house that we're going to go to. This is more, I guess, in relations to where our allegiances may lie. But again, since I'm already a part of the Golden Deer house, the Leicester Alliance, let's try and take it between the Adestrian Empire and the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Let's go with the Adestrian Empire for right now. And if worst case scenario, if that goes against everybody's wishes and desires, then perhaps we'll jump back and join up with Fargus.
A wise choice. Though the Empire has fallen from its former glory, the other regions are merely offshoots that pale in comparison.
All right, that's enough with the small talk. It's time to head back to the monastery.
Looks like we'll have to pick this up another time.
My, they are in such a hurry. You know, each of the three is most unique.
So now we get to learn a little bit about each one. What about Edelgard? She's a refined young woman, but I feel as though she's always evaluating me. She reminds me of a particular character from Persona 3. So if anyone's ever played Persona 3, I think you'll get a feeling for what she's like. Dimitri, he seems quite sincere, but I sense darkness lurking beneath. And then Claude, again my favorite character. His easy smile is striking, but that smile doesn't reach his eyes.
Yes, I thought the same.
I am so sleepy once again.
So our friend is here just long enough in order to have a quick chat, and then she's gonna go right back to sleep.
I may be sleeping, but
Alright, so we're gonna save and keep on keeping on. I just had to make a quick little change to the camera because I noticed that my shirt's getting a little wacky. So I just needed to make that quick change. We're good to go. And I can keep on keeping on.
Part 1. White Clouds. Great Tree Moon. 3 houses. The icy winds of the Agma Mountains have begun to scatter, and the verdant fields once again spring to life across Fodlan, heralding the start of a new year. As they celebrate the dawning year, the people pray that they may realize their full potential, just as a tiny sprout hopes to one day grow into a great tree.
I'm a fan of the little, cutscenes going into the new month.
The continent of Fodlan, said to be protected by a revered goddess, has existed since time immemorial.
The art style's pretty cool.
3 ruling powers now control the land. In the south lies a region long held by a more than 1,000-year-old dynasty, the Adestrian Empire. Beyond its borders, to the frigid north, is the home of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, ruled by the royal family and its knights. To the east, a league of nobles that heeds no king nor emperor rules what is called the Leicester Alliance. Once consumed by a tempest of war and turmoil, Fodlan and these 3 mighty powers now exist in relative harmony.
This will be your first time at the monastery. I'd be happy to show you around.
It really is Fodlan in a nutshell. The good and the bad.
Like it or not, we'll be there soon enough. There it is. Garrick Mock Monastery.
I will admit, guys, the monastery is a pretty cool, little place. Again, I really feel like this is a great combination of elements from Fire Emblem and mixing it with Persona, and you get that feel of that calendar with the things that you're trying to accomplish over the course of your calendar week. You've got to balance your school schedule. You have to balance training your students, your own personal training as well. There's a lot going on all at once, and you get to have, some fishing time, which is great for raising your professor rank, which kind of gives you, more leeway in teaching your students.
Did the flow of time bring you here?
There's a lot of stuff in this, and the monastery kind of is a great little place to continuously search around, and it ends up feeling a lot bigger than it actually is.
It's been years since I've last set eyes on this place. To be forced to see her now,
So Gerald's not, I guess, too happy about seeing Rhea.
You saw her in the courtyard earlier, didn't you? The Archbishop, Lady Rhea.
So apparently Lady Rhea is the Archbishop, the head of... Well, actually, I guess I'll just let the game tell you. So, the Archbishop...
As you know, the majority of folks in Fodlan are devout followers of the teachings of Seros. The leader of that ridiculously large religious organization is the Archbishop, Lady Rhea.
So Fergus, or at least Fodlan, being the actual continent that everybody's on.
Thank you for your patience, Gerald. My name is Seteth. I am an advisor to the Archbishop.
Right. Hello.
It has been a long time, Gerald. I wonder, was it the will of the goddess that we have another chance meeting like this?
Forgive my silence all these years. Much has happened since we last spoke.
So I see. The miracle of fatherhood has blessed you. That is your child, is it not?
Yes. Born many years after I left this place. I wish I could introduce you to the mother of my child, but I'm afraid we lost her to illness.
I see. My condolences. As for you, I heard of your valiant efforts from Alois. What is your name? A fine name indeed. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for saving those students of the Officers' Academy. Gerald, you already know what it is I wish to say, do you not?
You want me to rejoin the Knights of Seros, don't you? I won't say no, but...
Your apprehension stings. I had expected that Alois would have already asked this of you. I must step away for now, but I expect they will desire a word with you soon. Please listen carefully to what they have to say. Until tomorrow, farewell.
So my initial thoughts is I'm looking at Rhea and I'm thinking, is she the same person who was on the battlefield, who was a little, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and are they the same person? Maybe we'll find out.
I can't believe it. Forced back into the Knights of Seros. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Looks like I'll be stuck here for a while. And I'm afraid your services are requested as well.
Captain Nugget 14, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. I must work here? Am I going to work as a mercenary? Am I going to work as a servant? I mean, I'm a mercenary coming into here, so I'm assuming they're going to want me to continue doing mercenary work, so as a mercenary?
Nothing like that. They want you to teach, by the sound of it. You heard those brats earlier talking about the Officers' Academy, right?
It's better than doing cafeteria duty.
Well, the Academy just happens to be short a professor.
I'm doing well, Captain Nugget. I hope you're doing well, too.
And apparently that damned Alois went and recommended you to Lady Rhea.
So, you must be the new professor. My, how stern and handsome you are.
No. I'm not the one you're looking for. You can handle things from here. Good luck.
Geralt knows when to leave a bad conversation. He was like, see you later. I don't want nothing to do with Manuela. I'm all set.
And watch out for Lady Rhea.
Geralt already telling us, watching out for Lady Rhea.
I don't know what she's thinking, making you a professor like this. She may be up to something. Stay on your guard.
Oh, it's you then? So young.
Competence and age are not necessarily correlated, as you well know. I am Hanneman, a Crest Scholar and Professor at the Officers' Academy.
They go over what crests are a little bit later on in the game and why they're important, but all we need to know is that he's a Scholar of Crest over at the Officer
I wonder
Academy.
if you bear a crest of your own. When next you have a moment to spare, I insist that you pay me a visit so we can delve into the subject further.
I'm Manuela. I'm a professor, a physician, a songstress, and available. It's nice to meet you.
You're a physician? No, not based on looks. I'm not going to question her because a songstress. More importantly, why are you telling a brand new young, professor, I'm a songstress and available? A little forward, but let's go with the songstress.
Of course. Before I came here, I belonged to a renowned opera company.
She apparently liked the fact that we didn't question that she's a physician, but instead asked more about her opera background.
Perhaps you've heard of me? The Middlefranc Opera Company's beautiful, peerless.
Spare our colleague the needless chatter, Manuela.
I do appreciate the Hanneman Manuela back and forth
Now
at the
then.
beginning.
It seems you'll be taking charge of one of the Academy's 3 houses.
Captain Nugget's asking, what game is this? Captain Nugget, this is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. This is the brand new Fire Emblem game that just came out for Nintendo Switch.
I expect you haven't yet been briefed on the nature of each, have you?
Do you really not know? Fine. I'll do you a favor and explain. The Officers' Academy is comprised of 3 houses of students, each of which is closely affiliated with its region of origin. The Black Eagle House is for students from the Adrestian Empire. Their house leader this year is Edelgard, the Imperial Princess, who is in line to be the next Emperor.
So Edelgard, as they just said, is in line to be the next Emperor over with the Adrestian Empire.
The Blue Lion House is for students from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Their house leader this year is Prince Dimitri. He is to be the next king of Fargus.
We've got Prince Dimitri, who's to be the next king of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Holy moly.
Lastly, there is the Golden Deer House, which is for students of the Leicester Alliance.
Now, I keep saying Leicester Alliance, whatever, Leicester Alliance. We'll go with their pronunciation for now, at least until I forget and say Leicester again. So the Leicester Alliance is my own personal pick for my personal run-through. Like I said, I'm a fan of Claude. I enjoyed his character, his banter, so I ended up, even though normally, believe it or not, it's, and I'm sure everyone else kind of feels the same way, but I'll use an example. Pokemon Go. Right, when you joined up in Pokemon Go, like no one joined up with Instinct because not a lot of people are fans of the color yellow. So you don't want to be a part of a team that's, the color yellow. So Instinct kind of was like the lacking team on Pokemon Go. You wanted to be a part of, the red or the blue team, right? It's red versus blue in Halo. It's not yellow. It's kind of one of the, the more colors that you're not really going to be in a dying mood to want to go and join. But for me, even though I'm someone that normally would want to go with blue all the way, Claude's character right off the bat really got my attention. I enjoyed the writing and how snarky he was, and he seemed like he was intelligent. There was a lot going on with his story, so that made me go against the normal rules of color selection, and I went with the Lester Alliance and the Golden Deer House.
Their house leader is Claude, grandson to Duke Regan, the leader of the Alliance.
To think that the next Emperor, King, and Sovereign Duke are all here. It certainly is a promising year for the Academy.
I'll say. I just hope none of those little treasures cause any trouble.
Quite. For now, I suggest taking a stroll around the Academy to get your bearings. And when you've a moment, please stop by my research laboratory.
The old man has a point. Oh, and keep in mind that I've only notified the house leaders that you're our new professor. It's more fun that way. I suggest you try spending time with the students. Some odd ducks in that bunch, but they're good kids.
So soon we're going to have to pick what house we're going to be a part of. Like I said, I think I'm leaning towards the Adestrian Empire. And like I said, I'm already part of the Lester Alliance. I'm really stuck between, Fargus and the Adestrian Empire. I think I'm going to lean towards Adestrian for this playthrough. Maybe we'll do Fargus on another run. But that's where we're at.
I'm sure Lady Rhea will have more information for you tomorrow, but that should get you going. Good luck. You'll need it.
Have you no intention of changing your mind, Rhea? Appointing a stranger, a child no less, as a professor at our esteemed academy is...
I have made my decision, Sedith.
Bear with me, guys, real quick. Work is calling. Alright guys, sorry about that. One of the things about being an attorney is that even though it might be 6:53 p.m. On the East Coast, it's still hours for me. So if a client has an emergency, I have to take it if I get a phone call. I've been lucky so far for my other streams that I have not had any phone calls come in, so my apologies, but it is a requirement for the job. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I handled it appropriately, and we can keep on chugging on.
I know worrying comes naturally to you, but there is truly no need. That stranger is Gerald's flesh and blood, after all.
So we've got Captain Nugget having a recommendation, always with the recommendations every stream, saying Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order coming out November of this year. He says he already has it pre-ordered. The deluxe version comes with some bonus content. What is bonus content nowadays anyway, other than opinions, warning opinions. But really, I think that games are made almost 100% now, and then they choose to take 20% of it and hold it from release, and then they make you pay for it in additional either monthly or season passes or additional DLC that they
I can't say that's all too comforting. How trustworthy is this Geralt character? Is he not the man who went missing after the Great Fire 21 years ago? I would remind you that Flane is now here with us as well. I beg of you, please consider whether this is an unnecessary risk.
So I'm not a big fan of Sedith, I'm not gonna lie. He's a little too coarse for my taste.
Setith, they have my trust. Let that be enough for you as well. More importantly, I have received a report from Shamir. I am increasingly concerned about a matter regarding our suspicious individual.
Not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed when I eventually met Shamir. I was expecting like Shamir Moore from Criminal Minds. I was expecting someone like that, and I was like, oh. No, I want Shamir Moore now in my Fire Emblems.
We cannot ignore those who harbor ill will toward the church, especially if they are frequenting Garrick Mach.
Captain Nugget saying one thing you'll get in that game is an orange lightsaber crystal. Interesting.
Yes, that matter is of great importance as well. I shall continue my investigation. Rhea, for now I will have faith that you are placing your trust with the utmost care. I pray that nothing occurs to shake that confidence.
Fun note, during loading screens, if you press the B button, you make your little byleth down there jump. These are all my homies from the Golden Deer house that I normally play with. Not this time around. This is our potential house with Creepy McCreeperton and Sleepy McSleeperton. And Dorothea, who, like I said again, we'll have a conversation about Dorothea and how I think she's a immediate ripoff of a character in Persona. So you get the House of Fargus. I'm actually, honestly, really, I think I'll enjoy doing that as a third playthrough if I end up choosing to go with, Fargus last. But they seem like they got some pretty solid characters on there. I think you got like the goofy house being the Golden Deer.
Of course.
I think you've kind of got like some meme-worthy characters over in Adelgard. And I think you just got some pretty solid characters over in Fergus, or Fargus. Let's take on our first task
I assume
from
you are
Lady
already
Rhea.
aware that you will be teaching here at the Officers' Academy, correct? To start, please speak with the 3 house leaders. You should also take a look around the Academy and acquaint yourself with your new home.
And to pick one of the classes to
That
actually
is your
represent.
first task here at the monastery. Please let me know if you accept it. Once you have finished, come and speak with me.
So now we
May
get
I ask
to
a favor
take
of you?
this on. We really kind of just have to go around and speak with everybody. They're letting you know how to interact with your quest, how to figure out where to find it.
I
how to
imagine
work
you
with
were a
it.
bit surprised that I recommended you as a professor here. Frankly, we had someone else in mind for the role, but they ran off during our dust-up with the bandits.
You have to admit, that is a little irresponsible that you're bringing the quote-unquote new professor in order to help teach these kids not to die in battle. A battle breaks out, and they proceed to run off stage left. Is that left? That's right on your stream. Stage right, guys. and then you go ahead and just pick some random person up off the battlefield, and yeah, sure, you look like you'll make it so these kids don't get killed in battle. So, a little irresponsible, but more importantly, I'm a little bit laughing about the fact that it's when you lie, it's like the meme, right? When you lie in your resume, but you still get the job anyway, and you had that individual that apparently was getting the position to teach at the academy, but then proceeds to run off the moment that things start going to poop. So
Can't entrust students to someone who's abandoned them once before, huh?
You saved the lives of the students you came across. That, at least, was admirable. Now you should make the rounds. Go around the monastery and see that you greet everyone.
Alright, so now we're going to go around, we're going to greet everybody. So, one of the good things that I do like about this, we don't get to do it until a little bit later, but if you actually hit R, it'll bring up the map, and then you can fast travel to the different areas that you visited. You're able to see everyone who is currently occupying that level of the floor. Really comes in handy when you're trying to look for a particular person. So, great example, second floor, we'll be able to tackle all these individuals before we make our way down to the first floor, to where we'll obviously hit up everybody else. So, it's just, again, really helpful to hit that R button, get to the people, or if you want to hit ZR here, you'll see the facilities as well. So if you're not sure or you forget where something is, you can go and take a look at the facilities. If you do jump back out and hit your ZR button, it'll change the map size that you're dealing with. So, for example, you only have 2 at the moment. That increases to, I think, 3 or 4 as you continue on. But very topographical, very top, further viewed out map that we have up here right now is not very accurate for actually finding a character that you want to be able to find. You want to try and find this map that's going to allow you to be able to actually see where the circles are on the map. That will allow you to be able to find the person. Again, it's just slightly off based on the really large overhead. And there you go. It's exactly saying what I was going over with you. So, a whole bunch of people that we don't care about at the moment in the reception hall. But right there we've got Edelgard.
So, you've accepted a teaching position here. Pity. I was hoping you would lend your strength to the Empire. I never properly introduced myself, did I? My name is Edelgard von Hresberg. I am the princess and heir apparent of the Adrestian Empire. I wonder if you'll be tasked with leading the Black Eagles. I hope you've had a chance to meet everyone. Would you like to know more about any of the Black Eagles?
So this is a good chance to get Edelgard's take on all of the characters that are in her house, so sure, why not? Let's ask her right off the bat. What about you, Edelgard?
Me? Well, some think I'm a bit distant. Arrogant, even. But there's little to be done. One day, I must rise to become Adrestia's next emperor.
So, Edelgard, she is a noble, she is someone who really works with an axe well, but they go to show you, and I really do like this when you're first introduced to all of the characters, that it lets you know what their defining ability is. So her imperial lineage, that she multiplies experience earned by 1.2. So that's a good little feature. You know that she's going to gain experience faster than everybody else. She's going to level up a little bit more. Maybe you rely on her better than some of your other troops that you've got. And it shows you what are her weaknesses, right? What are her strengths, more importantly. So she's great with a sword, an axe. She's got her, command and heavy armor, and now, or authority, I'm sorry. Authority is the flag that you've got. And then your weaknesses. She's not good with the bow, and she's not good with tomes either. So, again, you really want to take the time to learn about your individual characters that are, in here that are going to make up your team, and you want to utilize them.
Well, it seems to me that we may have similar personalities.
You want to utilize them the best you possibly can. Alright, so let's go back. What about Hubert?
Hubert is the heir of Marquis Vestra. He has served me since I was a child. You may think his blood runs a bit cold, but actually that's rather accurate. Still, if you can get past that, you'll see he's quite astute and reasonable.
So, for Hubert, you can clearly see here that he's someone that really, again, he's Creepy McCreeperton. Like I said, this is Meme Troop 101, the Edestrian Empire, but you can see he's officer duty, his defining ability, and he gets a granting of plus 5 might when he has a gambit. So we'll go over what gambits are a little bit later on in the game. But the point is that obviously if you add something with him, that it makes him a little bit more of a stronger unit. And again, really get to know your strengths and weaknesses of your characters that you have with your team. So he's good with bows. He's good with the faith line, I believe that's what that is. That's reason, I think. I think reason and logic possibly. But so you've got reason and then you've got authority. So he clearly looks like he's someone who's good with the bow. So we'll make sure that he's there. Otherwise, he's not very good with an axe, with tomes, and with your flying as well. So I want to make sure that I don't deal with him in those areas, or I don't guide him in that way. Alright, what about Ferdinand?
For some reason, he thinks of me as a bitter rival and is always trying to challenge me. It's terribly irritating. His house is that of Duke Ire, which produces Adrestia's prime ministers. That family is perhaps too pleased with its own status.
Alright, so we've got Ferdinand. His defining ability is Confidence, so it grants a hit and avoidance plus 15 when the unit is at full HP, so allowing Ferdinand to remain at high HP is a benefit when you are in battle. So perhaps maybe think about keeping a healer not too far from Ferdinand to get the most out of his damage output. So he doesn't have any weaknesses. He's a well-rounded character, whether if it's sword, whether if it's axe, whether if it's lance, or if he's on a horse. Ferdinand is a pretty well-rounded character. Another thing to note is that if you're looking at the stats as well, you can see that no one's really going to match up to Byleth in terms of his stats. No one's going to match up to Edelgard in terms of her stats, or Dimitri or Claude, depending on what house you're a part of. But everyone kind of plays a little bit of a minor role in terms of stats. So he's a little bit less and worse off than Edelgard. But you can see he does not have any weaknesses. You can kind of meld him to be what you want. Alright, Lionheart.
He's remarkably intelligent, but he only wishes to apply himself to tasks that particularly interest him, and nothing else. He's also fond of, well, napping. If he had any work ethic or sense of duty to speak of, I suppose he would be destined to become an official of the Empire.
So, Linhart here is our resident. If we have Creepy McCreeperton, we've got Sleepy McSleeperton. Linhart is not someone who wants to apply himself in the group, and Catnap is his defining ability. So the unit takes no action except wait and recovers 10% of their max HP. So if you've got Linhart on the battlefield and you want to increase your HP without having to use some of your items, then guess what? Have him do nothing. Have him just wait. He'll increase his HP and be ready to keep on keeping on. Strong with the magics, obviously, showing logic and reasoning, or at least I believe it's logic or reasoning and faith. I think are the two. One relates, I think, to the dark arts, or at least to black magic, I guess, and the other one's relating more towards healing abilities. If I have that correct, I'm not entirely certain about that. And then it shows weaknesses as being axes and melee. So let's move on to Casper. What do we got with Casper?
He's the second son of Count Bergman.
Is he a friendly ghost?
He has no inheritance in his future, which is perhaps why he's always so eager to prove himself. He's overly energetic and rushes headfirst into any battle. If he ends up in your care, be sure to keep a close eye on him.
Alright, we're gonna rock the Caspar here. So we've got his defining ability being a born fighter. Adjacent foes suffer -10 avoidance during combat. He is someone that is training all the time, always wants to prove himself. Clearly stats are a little bit on the lower side. His strengths, however, are axe and melee, weaknesses being authority, being, I think, reasoning or logic, whatever that one is. I always forget it. And then you've got bow. So keep him either with his fist or with an axe in his hand, and he is a happy camper. Bernadetta, like I said, guys, I can't get enough of this house. It is meme central. You've got Hubert being Creepy McCreeperton. You've got Edelgard basically being your average run-of-the-mill anime character of someone who's the overachieving head of a class, the class president, if you will. Like I said, if you ever play Persona 3, right down that alley. Ferdinand's your perfectionist. Lingard is just Sleepy McSleeperton. You've got Rock the Caspar, the friendly ghost. Bernadetta is basically your nerd, someone who just wants to stay inside and just play video games if she could all day. Dorothea is your idol, and again, a complete ripoff of what I think is a character from Persona 4. Persona 4 would help if I could speak. And then, actually, I dig Petra. I like Petra. We'll get to her a little bit later. But what about Bernadetta?
She's Count Varley's only daughter. I suppose you could say she's a bit eccentric, but she seems like a gentle soul. I believe she shut herself away in her quarters and doesn't care to leave, but don't worry. I'll make sure she finds her way to class.
Alright, so Bernadetta, she's got the Persecution Complex as being her defining ability, and that grants +5 attack when the unit is not at full HP. So it almost benefits you to make sure that Bernadetta is not at full health, so this way you can get the best out of this character. She is strong with a lance and a bow, weak with a sword, axe, melee, and heavy armor, so we do not want to keep her weighed down. We want to make sure that she's able to run back to her room so she can go ahead and watch all of the, the Gundam series. Dorothea.
Few commoners have joined the Black Eagle House, but Dorothea is an exception. She's a songstress from a famous opera company in the Empire. I'm not entirely sure what brought her to the Officers' Academy.
So, I'm going to air out my grievances now. Dorothea is basically, I feel like, Rise from Persona 4, and she was an idol, similar hair, kind of similar like personalities, kind of put the idol persona in front of their own. It's like a crutch for them. That's how they only know how to interact with people, and they feel very vulnerable when you kind of see through it. So Rise and Dorothea, they're basically the same character, and that bothers me a little bit. But Dorothea rocks. She is someone who I definitely went out of my way to recruit for the Golden Deer. She is very strong, whether or not if she's got a sword in her hand, or if you class her as a magic or a mage class. She is someone who can deal a fair amount of damage on both sides of it. So for me, I mostly prefer to use her from a magic standpoint, but she does have that strength with the sword. So it does say her defining ability is Songstress, so adjacent allies recover up to 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. Very helpful to have, especially if, she is going to accompany some characters on the front line. So not only can she deal out the damage, but she can also heal it at the same time. And then finally, Petra.
To the west of Fodlan is an archipelago called Brigid. Petra is the granddaughter of their king. Brigid is a vassal state of the Empire, which is how she came to be enrolled here. She's incredibly smart and studious.
So Petra her defining ability is Hunter's Boon, so that grants critical +20 when the foe's HP is less than 50%. So she is great to play cleanup. So if you've got a major damage dealer that takes out a majority of the HP of your enemy, and you bring Petra to come in, she'll clean it up because she's going to deal more damage if they are weaker, the opponent, of course. So her strengths are the sword, axe, the bow, and flying, and I could see her kind of being like a wyvern flyer, so that would be a cool class for her. Her weaknesses, however, are anything magic related. So that's everybody from the Black Eagles class. I think that just about wraps it up for
So,
her.
you've accepted
Let's
a
make sure
teaching
that there's
position
nothing
here.
else that
I never
Edelgard wants
properly
from
introduced
us.
myself. I am the princess, and I
already
wonder
went
if you'll
through
be
this, so I'm just
tasked. I
going
hope you've
to
had a chance to meet
plow
everyone.
through that.
Would you like to know more?
We're just gonna get through that. We already had a chance to go through that.
Pardon me.
Here's our gatekeeper.
Greetings! You must be the new professor. What a pleasure. As for me, my job is to stand here at this glorious entrance and leisurely watch over the comings and goings of everyone. Make folks smile, you know? And by that, I mean to vigilantly guard this entrance with my very life. No levity whatsoever. As of now, nothing to report.
So I'm a fan of the gatekeeper. I think well-written character, nice little levity in something that is otherwise serious, and just in general, it's a nice little difference from all the seriousness, and it's a good mixture between like the seriousness and the memes. It's like right there in the middle of being like something that's honest and good. Let's speak with Claude and learn about his
scored
class.
a teaching gig here, did you? Talk about a great first impression. I guess that means I'd better introduce myself properly. I'm Claude von Regan.
All these like Von whatever names, it's killing me. I'm not a big fan of the, because it just doesn't make sense that someone's, you know, like, there's like a very Americanized name for a couple of characters, and it's like Von Hoity-Toity Pants.
I'm from the
just
ruling
sometimes
house
doesn't
of the
make,
Lester
any
Alliance,
sense.
but don't worry too much about all that madness. I'm guessing you don't know which class you'll be teaching yet, do you? I bet you'd like ours. We're not as difficult as the other two. Have you met the folks from the Golden Deer House yet? Care to know more about anyone?
Alright, so I know a little bit about the Golden Deer class, so I can at least help make this one go a little bit faster. So we've got
Piqued your
Claude.
interest, have I? As luck would have it, I'm pretty curious about you as well. But what's life without a bit of mystery? Let's just spend the next year or so learning about each other little by little.
Alright, so Claude here, all of your major leaders of the different classes are going to have the 1.2 experience gain. So he's got the Lester lineage, multiplies experience earned by 1.2. Claude is strong, basically, with every melee except for the lance. So if he's got a sword, a bow, if he's got an axe in his hand, you'll find out that that's where some of his strengths will lie as well. Authority and flying. So he's someone who is well suited for taking on a Wyvern, character, wielding an axe. I find he is in good shape for that. We've got Lawrence. Not a big fan of Lawrence.
He's the heir of Gloucester territory. If you haven't already picked up on it, he's a bit arrogant and fancies himself a ladies' man.
Which he's not.
That said, deep down he's really devoted and honest. Though I wouldn't mind never hearing him talk about his noble obligations ever again.
So his defining ability is Distinguished House. The unit deals 2 extra damage while in formation with the battalion. Battalions, again, is a little extra feature that we'll go over very shortly as it gets introduced. His strengths are lance, magic, and being on a horse, so it almost kind of just makes it perfect for him to be on horseback with his lance. It's a very straightforward character in terms of where to put him.
He comes from a merchant family, but his parents died in an accident. Seems like he's had a rough life. Despite all that, he's just about the most cheerful guy you'll ever meet. His passions are training, eating, and actually that's about it.
Have a good dinner, Captain Nugget 14. Enjoy it. Alright, so Raphael here, not one of the Ninja Turtles, although he's not much more attractive than one. His defining ability is Goodie Basket, chance to recover up to 10% of max HP at the start of each turn, and the trigger percentage is his luck stat. So the higher the luck, the higher the trigger percentage of him recovering HP every turn. He's a very straightforward, albeit shallow character. He's just muscle, food, gym tan, laundry. That's essentially what Raphael is. Put him with some form of melee, and he is happy. So for me, I know that I actually kept him. It almost seems too easy to just put like an axe in his hand and make him a heavy armor unit. But for me in my playthrough, I really focused on Raphael with his melee.
He comes from a
attacks.
merchant family, but his parents, despite all...
I already went through that, so we can get through there. Ignatz.
He's the second son of a merchant family. Since his brother will inherit the business, he's training to become a knight.
And he has no business being a knight, just for the record.
If you ask me, doesn't seem like he truly wants to be a knight. He's probably just doing it to please his parents.
So Ignatz has a watchful eye as his defining ability, and that is that it grants hit plus 20. He just feels like he's an archer through and through, so I'll just leave it at that. Lysithea.
Lysithea is the daughter of Count Ordelia, and is probably the youngest student here. But watch out, she gets angry if you treat her like a child. As for me, I do it on purpose. You have to make your own fun in this place, you know?
Again, one of the reasons why I love Club. Alright, so her defining ability is the Mastermind ability, which is she doubles skill experience earned in battle. I feel like Lysithea is I guess a character that blooms over time more than it is someone that is... I feel like she's a lot stronger than what a lot of people give her credit for. Again, I utilize her very regularly on my own personal run-through. Again, you know, her and your major headliners for your leaders of the class, they seem to, you know, earn a lot more experience very quickly, so you kind of tend to lean on them because they end up being a lot more higher level than everybody else that's in your party. So she's good with your magics and authority. However, her weaknesses are sword, basically anything melee, and heavy armor. But what you'll find out is that when we get to the mechanic, she actually has a skill out of those weaknesses that you can actually learn and increase, and it actually ends up becoming a strength for her rather than being a weakness.
Marianne is Margrave Edmund's daughter, and that's pretty much all I know about her.
Alright, so Marianne...
She doesn't interact much with other students,
actually, now
so
we have
I wouldn't be surprised
Stephanie's
if a lot of folks here have never even heard her speak.
Alright, so Marianne, her defining ability is Animal Friend, so units recover up to 20% of max HP at the start of each turn when adjacent to a cavalry or flying ally. Marianne's very straightforward in terms of what I felt her classing was. You know, her strengths are sword, magic, being on a horse, or on being a flying unit. Her weaknesses are melee and heavy armor, so... spoiler alert, Marianne can also take one of her weaknesses, or at least something that she's not weak or strong in, and turn that into a positive, and for her that's Lance. So I just found that it was a kind of a no-brainer to take Marianne and either take her to be a unit on horseback or on Pegasus. So that's kind of how I viewed Marianne's character. Next,
Hilda is the only daughter of Duke Goneril. It seems her father and brother coddle her quite a bit. If you look up lazy in the dictionary, her picture won't be there because she never got around to submitting it. Not too unusual for a noble, I guess.
Again, very snarky. I enjoy the comments. Alright, so Hilda has Advocate as her defining ability, and that is an adjacent male ally deal 3 extra damage during combat. So her strengths are Lance and Axe, and her weaknesses is Magic and Authority. So she is someone that I threw an Axe on, and then I basically just gave her heavy armor and continued to roll from there. So I'm getting a poll that Stephanie is asking me to answer. Unfortunately not for you guys, because it's what we need to eat for dinner. Option 1 is pizza, option 2 is subs, and option 3 is tacos. I think the important question is, if we were to get pizza, is it Hawaiian pizza? Is it cheese pizza? If it's tacos, is it Taco Hut tacos? Taco Bell. Is it from like a taquito place? No. Oh, I know, but I'm like a taqueria. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. We could do pizza, so this way you don't have to go back out. It can, but we can have it delivered. if we were to do that and get a pizza. What are you thinking? Pizza, good? Sure. I thought you were gonna make the decision. I thought you just told me that was gonna be the. Oh, that's right. She has my card on file, which means that she can dangerously buy a whole bunch of stuff. Sure. Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry. What? I leave that up to you because I'm down for either chicken or for some of the bread stuff or whatever.
Leone enrolled because she wants to be a mercenary. I think she said that her father is a hunter. She's pretty blunt and as stingy as they come. A habitual
Yes.
saver, too. I think she's hoping to repay her village for helping to send her here.
So before I go into talking about Leone, Stephanie had a great point that our decision-making on dinner that we just went through right now, that was probably the fastest that we ever decided on dinner. But Stephanie actually had her hair dyed today. Come on over. Show the new do. Actually, it's the same do. It's the same boss, but just it's say hello to the new boss, same as the old boss. Come on in. Don't leave me hanging. Come on in.
I'll have you guys know that I had to wash my hair in the kitchen sink at work because that's where I dyed my hair today. So my hair has not been styled, and I threw it in a big bun on top of my head, and I only came on screen because I love you.
Love you too. All right, now get out of here. Actually, no, I'm joking. You can stay as long as you want. So, I think she looks beautiful. I am biased. I'm marrying you, but that's all right. I'm still allowed to have an opinion. So we've got Leone. Leone's defining ability is Rivalry. So if a male ally is adjacent, the unit deals 2 extra damage and takes 2 less damage during combat. So Leone is someone that you want to have surrounded by male characters. So if you happen to play, the Golden Deer route, or you happen to recruit Leone onto your group, make sure that you surround her with male characters. That'll get the best out of her. So her strengths are lance, bow, and horse. So really, again, I felt like the Golden Deer's characters were very straightforward as to how they felt they needed to be classed, and Leone was another one that was, get her a lance and put her on horseback, and that was that. Welcome back, Ashy.
Yeah, that's
Alright, so we got one more house to learn about, and that's going to be House Vargas with Dimitri.
Please accept my apologies for the other day. You came to our aid, yet I hadn't even the courtesy to properly introduce myself. I am Dimitri Alexandra Blathed, Crown Prince of the Holy Kingdom of Vargas. Of course, at the Academy, I am simply a student. And I've heard word that you are to become a professor here. Delightful news. I still have much to learn, but I'm confident I could benefit greatly from your guidance. In any case, welcome to the monastery. I hear you're investigating the different houses here. Did any of the Blue Lions catch your attention?
I think that looks like a good dinner to me. Sounds good. So Ashy's saying that they're very tempted to make an animatic or comic or just a plain drawing, but you have to listen to a song again. So blare that music, put it on, and get the drawing stuff out. All right, so we do want to learn about the Blue Line so we can wrap up learning about everybody. All right, Dimitri himself, what do we got?
Me? Oh, please forgive me. It's difficult to open up on the spot, don't you think? I'm afraid my story has not been a pleasant one. I do hope that doesn't color your view of me, but I understand if that can't be helped.
So that was a non-answer. That was a, what can I say? That was a, I've had a bad life, and I'm not going to tell you about it, so my apologies. And they always kind of, like they said, Dimitri's someone that might have a little bit of a dark streak to him. And I hear that comes out in the second half of the Three Houses storyline. I wouldn't know. I haven't played it yet, so we'll find out. So his defining ability is Royal Lineage. Like I said, all of your major house leaders have that multiplying experience of 1.2%. His strengths are wielding a sword, a lance, and authority. His weaknesses are axe and magic. So we'll go ahead. You guys can see the stats are nuts for Dimitri, all the house leaders. What about, is it Didu, I think his name is?
Didu was born in Dustin,
Didu.
and has been loyally working in my service for the past 4 years. He's rather taciturn, but once you get to know him, you'll see he's a kind and good-natured young man.
Alright, so Didu, his defining ability is Staunch Shield, and if a unit takes no action except wait, it grants +4 defense for 1 turn. So his strengths are Lance, Axe, Melee, Heavy Armor, and weaknesses being healing magics. You've got your horse and flying, so that kind of just yells for someone to be, you know, a wall. So just have him take damage, put him in heavy armor, and just have him go out to the battlefield. Felix.
Felix is the heir to House Fraldarius. He has a bit of a sharp tongue, but don't let that fool you. Deep down, he's a good guy. He gravitates toward people who are skilled. Perhaps you would enjoy a friendly competition with him sometime.
So Dimitri, Lone Wolf ability, unit deals 5 extra damage when no battalion is assigned or when battalion endurance is 0. His strengths are sword, bow, and melee, weaknesses being magic and authority. Really, he's just someone you put a sword in his hand and set him up as a sword master and let him go off on his own, and you'll get the best out of Dimitri. You are looking for what? My wallet? I thought you said you had everything. She is... See, here's the... No, that's the key to the castle. Here you go, you can take it. Alright, Ash. Poor Ash.
He's
Not
the
catch him.
adoptive son of Lord Lonato of Castle Gaspar, but I hear he was born a commoner. He has an extremely earnest personality, so I'm certain he will approach your lectures with great enthusiasm.
Arizona, sure. Thanks, baby. Poor Ash here. Anyway, so we'll figure out what happens to Ash a little bit early into the storyline, but his defining ability is Lockpick, allows unit to open doors and chests without keys. His strengths being axe and bow, weaknesses being magic, so it's kind of very straightforward for him, I felt as well. I felt like Thief was, you know, a route for him, you know, something that allowed him to be able to really take advantage of what kind of feels like a, you know, kind of like a base for what normally is considered a Thief within the Fire Emblem world.
Sylvain is the heir to House Gautier. He is a capable person who highly values his friends. That said, well, he's always been a bit of a skirt chaser, so to speak. Pardon my bluntness. I speak with him about it often, but it doesn't seem to help.
So Sylvain is the tail chaser, the skirt chaser, however you want to call it. He tries to be a ladies' man. His defining ability is Philanderer, so if a female ally is adjacent, he will deal 2 extra damage and take 2 less damage during combat. So kind of similar to Leone over on the Golden Deer. Surround Sylvain with female characters if possible to get the best out of his performance on the battlefield. He has strengths of lance, axe, and being on horseback, with his weakness being bow. So for me, you know, I would look at Sylvain and definitely would get him to be, again, when you've got someone who's a horseback expertise, you know, take advantage of it, make him a soldier, get him to get that lance in hand and go and deal some damage and really get to move around. All right, everyone's favorite sports car.
I hear she was born to imperial nobility, but a twist of fate brought her to the kingdom. She may seem carefree on the surface, but she's actually a kind soul who pays careful attention to everyone around her.
So this bothers me a whole bunch over the course of the game. Everyone goes, Mercedes. And I'm like, no, it's Mercedes. Vroom vroom, Mercedes. So Mercedes' defining ability is Live to Serve. When healing an ally with white magic, the unit recovers the same amount of HP. So she's a reciprocal healer, so she's definitely a very strong healer in the game. She has her strengths being both lines of magic, and her weaknesses being anything melee related, except for when she's going to go punch stuff. She can go punch stuff without a problem, but anything else, put a weapon in her hand, she's useless. So again, get her to be a healer, and that's really one way to make sure she gets the most effect that you can get out of her. Annette now.
Annette is Baron Dominic's niece. She is a talented student who scored extremely high marks at the Royal School of Sorcery. She's cheerful and hardworking. Brilliant, really. Though she can be a bit oblivious at times. I hear she caused an explosion in the kitchen last night.
Alright, we've got Annette. Annette's defining ability being Perseverance. Use Rally to grant Strength +4 to an ally. So she's someone who you definitely want to have with maybe like a Sylvain, because not only is she going to increase his damage output and increase his defense, you can also utilize her to really bump up his strength, but she is a powerhouse all in her own right. She's got some pretty good stats. She's someone who is strong with an axe, with the magic and authority. However, avoid, at least for now, the bow and arrow and heavy armor. Last but not least, we've got Ingrid.
Ingrid is Count Galatia's daughter. She is also a childhood friend of Felix, Sylvain, and myself. She is diligent, industrious, and principled. In truth, she is more knightly than most knights you will ever meet.
Ingrid, so she is our Lady Knight. The defining ability that she has grants Might +3 and Hit +5 with Gambits. She is very similar to Ferdinand. She's someone who does not have any weaknesses. She is someone who is strong with sword and lance, and she is good on any form of horse or Pegasus. So definitely someone you want to have as a mobile unit.
I appreciate your effort.
So we spoke to all of the house leaders. Our quest is complete. It is now time to take on our next quest by going over to Rhea.
How are you enjoying your time at the Academy thus far? I hope you have found our halls brimming with the vitality of well-intentioned souls.
I suppose it is time for you to take charge of one of our 3 houses of students.
It's that time now, guys. We need to pick one of the 3 houses.
I must note that I am personally against entrusting someone as lacking in trackable history as yourself with such a task. But
The Black Eagles, the Blue Lions, and the Golden Deer. All so different. I hope you've made it a point to get to know each of them.
We did make it a point to get to learn a little bit about each one.
Since you are new here, we have decided to allow you first pick. Manuela and I will take charge of the remaining 2 houses.
Alright, so now it's time to pick what house we are going to choose. We can pick between the Agestrian Empire, the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, thank you, and the Leicester Alliance. Like I said, guys, I'm personally playing the Leicester Alliance on my playthrough, so I am going to do a veto on that one. We're not going to pick that one. So we're stuck between the Adestrian Empire and the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. So I'm going to take a couple of seconds to allow participants in the chat to give their feedback on it and see if there's any strong feelings as to what you would like me to play. But let's pick between the Holy Kingdom of Fargus and the Adestrian Empire. We're going to cue the Jeopardy music now. Oh, candy break apparently. So while I give a couple of seconds, well, you get to watch me eat a candy while I wait for some form of input in the chat. Try not to be rude and talk with a mouthful. Alright guys, we are going to go with the Adestrian Empire.
So you have chosen the Black Eagles led by Edelgard, correct?
The Black Eagles led by Edelgard. Yes, that's going to be our house
Your
for this
heart
run
has
through.
made its choice then. All I ask is that you guide these open minds with virtue, care, and sincerity.
They are all promising youths who bear the weight of Fodlan's future upon their shoulders. I hope you appreciate what an honor it is to lead them.
Brother? Oh, I am so sincerely sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
I'm in the middle of something, Flame. Is it urgent?
No, it's nothing. More importantly, who is that?
This is our newest professor at the Academy.
Oh my! A new addition to the Officers' Academy! I am so very pleased to meet you, Professor. I am Sedith's little sister, Flame. I am so happy to make your acquaintance.
Let us focus on the topic at hand. There is something you should be aware of. In a few days' time, there will be a mock battle between the three houses, intended to gauge the current progress of the students. We will be using this battle as an opportunity to ascertain your own abilities as well. Please do not disappoint the Archbishop. That is all.
So that's something that I'm actually curious about, because when I first started, and like I said, I picked the House of the Golden Deer, the Leicester Alliance. I'm leading that house, and if I remember correctly, I believe the Adestrian Empire was led by Manuela, and Hedelman was at least, I guess, leading up House Fargus. So I want to see how or who takes over the Leicester Alliance and who's going to end up having House Fargus now that I am at the Adestrian Empire.
So our new professor is you? I didn't see that one coming.
Easy, Caspar. Aren't you being a bit rude?
You know it's a waste of time to expect politeness from him. It will be a pleasure learning from you, Professor. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to take a nap.
Don't look at me like that! Oh, and please don't talk to me too much either.
I'm sorry for the chaos you've walked into.
I hear we are rather close in age, Professor. I hope you do not mind if we treat you like one of us. In our class, we try to treat each other as equals, despite any differences in age or status. Personally, I would love to include you in that inner circle.
You have a gut, Professor. I will take great joy from your teachings.
Petra, I believe you mean to say that our professor has guts. That's a bit different from having a gut.
That's what I have.
You can't go around saying someone so slim and attractive has a gut.
Oh, please take my apologies. I have not yet mastered this language.
Professor, I want you to know that it's perfectly acceptable for you to treat me as you do the others. I may be the Imperial Princess, but here at the Academy, I'm just another student. That said, know that I have high expectations of you, and high hopes. But I'm certain you can lead the Black Eagle House to greatness.
Sure. Now let's break the ice with a training session. I want to see our new teacher in action.
Why will the ice be broken? Is this a custom I have missed in my studies?
Not real ice, just the ice of, well, it just means let's get to know each other.
I don't want to train. Let's stay in the classroom and learn from a book.
Let's all calm down and have a nice cup of tea, how about? Doesn't that sound lovely, Professor?
I know we all agree to treat each other as equals, but there is a limit to what I can tolerate. The esteemed Black Eagle House requires order.
Looks like your first job will be to quiet down this racket. I don't envy you.
They're not normally this rowdy. I do hope you can manage, Professor.
Kinda don't have a choice. We selected it, so we have to roll with it. We got quite the load time. My apologies, but we're done with the introduction, so now we've got a whole bunch to work with. There are new places to explore in the monastery. We received 1,000 from the Church of Seros as funding for this month's activities.
Say, while you're here, I'd like to use this device I designed to determine whether the power of a crest resides within you. Won't hurt a bit. Promise.
So we find that Hanneman's a little bit of a weirdo. Who's
You
really
don't
obsessed
know about crests?
with Crest.
Well, allow me to tell you everything, absolutely everything about them. Is your calendar clear? This will take a while. Crests are a fascinating topic, but before one can dive deeply into said topic, one must first understand what crests are. They are power incarnate. They are said to have been bestowed upon humans by the goddess countless ages ago. They exist within the flesh and are passed down through bloodlines. Those who carry crests may excel at magic, display exceptional strength, or any number of boons. Each crest has its own power, the nature of which is beyond mortal understanding. For now.
So, essentially, I know he just explained it, but the short version, or at least as Stephanie would say, the mansplaining version of it, is a long, long time ago, goddesses gave crest and powers to people. Either you're good at magic, you're good at weapons, so on and so forth. Everyone's a little bit unique, but some individuals, the closer you are in direct and bloodline to these individuals or people of power, the more powerful your crest is and what your abilities may and what you can do. And we end up finding that, spoiler alert, Violet is special, but it just wouldn't be a Fire Emblem game if your main character wasn't in some way, shape, or form special from everybody else.
I suspect as much, yes. But we won't know for sure unless I look into the matter. As I said, crests are passed down through the blood. However, just because someone carries a crest does not necessarily mean their descendants will inherit it as well. Only a scarce few descendants of a crest's bloodline end up inheriting that crest's power.
They end up going over some kind of like BS percentages, I think, over the course of the story, but it doesn't really. I think it's like 50% of people end up getting a crest or something. But again, the closer you are to that particular crest being passed down, the stronger it normally ends up being.
Perhaps one of your ancestors bore a crest, and you just happen to inherit it. That is how a crest usually presents itself, after all.
So we can either work with Hanneman and say, you know, do what you can to find out, or we can, I mean, really, we still have to go through the initial stages, but you can continue
Yes,
if you
of
want
course.
to work with Hanneman.
I'll get to the bottom of it straight away. Now then, please go ahead and hold out your arm over this device here. What is this? A pattern I've never seen before. Is it possible an as yet undiscovered crest has been detected?
Oh my god, what a shocker. We're unique.
To think, there are still crests out there that even I am unaware of. How thrilling! Ahem. Pardon my unrestrained jubilation. I have much to consider. You may leave now. I have more research to do in regard to this crest. Yes, so very much more research. But for now, your work here is done. What could this line here be indicating? Perhaps it represents a lack of symmetry. Or what in the world? Oh, I see. It may be connected to that, but to a greater degree than usual.
So, Stephanie's saying that she thinks that Hanneman's voice actor definitely did some voice acting for Skyrim. I think that you might be confusing it with, not Skyrim, but I think it might be Oblivion. Yeah, is it Oblivion that came before that? Because he sounds like very similar to, I'm pretty sure that they used very similar voice actors between Skyrim and Oblivion, but It sounds like, oh, you know what he sounds like? He sounds like the merchant in the first city that you go to from Skyrim. You're gonna have to do like a little bit of a search there. See if you can go to IMDb that. Hannemon. Hannemon, I think.
With each moon, professors of the Officers' Academy receive a schedule for the month ahead. It notes the days on which events and missions will take place that month. Pay careful attention to your schedule so that you may thoughtfully plan what you intend to do each month and when.
So they're introducing the calendar to us. The calendar obviously being very important. Again, this is where you end up figuring out when you get free time, when birthdays are, when you have to do your schedule and your planning to teach students. It lets you know anything and everything that you need to know to be prepared for this month. And we only have one option. We have to explore. So we're going to go to the monastery and explore now. So, this is my room. Captain Nugget says, I have returned. Welcome back, Captain Nugget. Glad to have you back. Did you have cod and potatoes again? Or did you have something else? So, Pilot says, he thought he heard a girl's voice, but but he thinks he may have been imagining it. Maybe it's our friend Sothis that we had in our head there. We've got 3 quests that we can take on. Fresh Catch, Green Thumb Beginnings, and Share a Bite. So it does say visit the dining hall to unlock the ability to fast travel there, which means the same thing for going to the garden and also to the cafeteria. So because of that, what we'll do is we will just run around the map very quickly. Again, I know I said it beforehand, but the further you are out on the map, so the more distant the view is, the least accurate the circles are. So you might run to an area where you think someone's located based on the larger map, but you're going to want to zoom in to this really zoomed up version to actually find out where a person is. It's not perfectly accurate. So let's speak to Seta and see what he has for us.
To better help you supervise them, you also have a room here. Your room is here at the end. Commoner students also reside on the first floor, while the second is primarily for students of noble birth. As a rule, we try to avoid discrimination based on social status here, but the nobility can be quite insistent when it comes to matters of propriety. Speaking of, it would be best for you to avoid improper conduct. I expect you to set a good example for the students.
Alright, so I like to really, for the first go-around, I really just like to very quickly speak to everybody.
I'm not too keen on the professor of my class. I really hope to focus more on strategy. Maybe I should talk to my professor about transferring to a different class.
Captain Nugget saying meatloaf is what they had. I prepped earlier today. So meatloaf I prepped earlier today, green beans and mashed potatoes is what I had. That actually sounds very good. So, pizza sounds better? Yeah, Stephanie says pizza sounds better.
Let me know when you are hungry.
Alright, let me know when you
I will make you a
hungry.
quality meal, as
quality
thanks for your
meal,
service
as
to His
thanks
Highness.
For your service to His Highness.
I have a request.
He wants us to head over to the greenhouse. We will accept that, make our way over there. He gave me
I heard about the upcoming mock
so we can
battle.
go plant those.
I want you to know, Professor, that I do not intend to lose. I hereby declare my intention to prevail at... Goodness, listen to me. The thrill of competition has carried me away. I won't speak so formally of a class assignment in the future.
Not a big fan of, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of Dimitri. Way too formal for me. It's a little weird. That's
Hey,
why
Teach,
I
I
like
hear there's
Claude
going to
so
be a
much.
mock battle between the houses. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit concerned about facing an elite mercenary like you. Maybe take it easy on us. What do you say?
Or we'll mop the floor with you.
Oh, Professor! Have you adjusted to life at the Academy yet? Me? I'm still not used to it. I'm not one for all this studying and training.
Alright, keep pushing on. Here's the dormitory.
I'm Captain Gerald's first and best apprentice. I can beat anyone, Professor. Even you, if I have to. It may have been only for a short time, but I learned from the absolute best.
So Leonie's definitely got a chip on her shoulder.
I don't like to come out unless I really have to. Hope you're okay with that, Professor.
Bernadetta always is in her dorm.
Well, there's Dorothea, Hilda, and Mercedes. Lady Rhea's quite the beauty, too. And I must admit, I've even checked out Professor Manuela once or twice. You know, Professor, I think I'm going to like it at the Officers Academy. There are beautiful girls as far as the eye can see. Professor,
We've got Sylvain
I've
wanting
got a
us to
small
go
favor
over
to ask.
to the dining hall. So we can take that one on. And then since we're right here, the greenhouse or whatever's right, I think they call it, yeah, the greenhouse and fishing pond. Might as well finish Dedu's quest. We've got Lionheart here, so...
The Great Tree Moon is the best time of the year for naps. I could just forget all about my assignment.
Lionheart, like I said, is Sleepy McSleeperton, always wanting to fall asleep, never really taking things seriously. And my feeling, Stephanie's like, I feel you, Lionheart, I feel you. So I'll say now I'm feeling sleepy too.
Anyway.
Poor
Oh, did you
Ash.
come to look at the plants too? The greenhouse here is really incredible. There are so many rare flowers I'd never seen back home, and herbs I never even knew existed. My
I like to
adoptive
be nice
father
to
is the
everybody,
real
so
expert.
although we could
He taught me everything I know
we could
about
be mean
herbs,
to people, I like
including how to
to
tell them apart
show
and how to make
interest.
medicines.
Get to learn a little bit more about the characters.
You should try looking around the greenhouse sometime if the mood strikes you. Maybe something will catch your eye.
So gardening is very straightforward. In this case, we'll just give a very quick tutorial here. You go ahead, you take your seed, you plant that. You basically go ahead and have a chance to cultivate. Cultivate, meaning you're going to be adding in something with the seeds that you just planted. It will affect your predicted yield, or what you can yield when you come back to go and do that. Right now you just have infuse with magic. That's the only option. After that, you get to add some things, and it costs more, but your potential harvest is that much better. And then when you come back and the next time or the next day that you're available to get back to the gardening area, you harvest, and you'll be able to collect
My
everything
thanks.
that was yielded. So we just turned that in automatically to Dedu, so that's all set.
Hi there.
I know this is probably, I forget, I think playing Fates, if I remember correctly. I think if you were playing a male character, and Fire Emblem has come a little bit, they've made some progress in terms of same-sex relationships on Fire Emblem, but I think they're still really lacking for male-male relationships, because I believe if you play the female Byleth character, I think there's 3 or 4 choices that you have in order to, have a romantic relationship with a female character in the game. However, if you are playing a male character, there's only one option, and that is Lionheart, our Sleepy McSleeperton friend. And that seems like there's some progress, because at one point in time you could not have any same-sex relationships, so it's nice to be able to see some progress on that, but I really wish that they would expand upon that, and that they weren't expanding upon it as much as they are in one direction. They seem to be kind of banking off of the fact that male players will probably be playing female Byleth and then allowing them to be able to pursue certain relationships as a female character that might be for the enjoyment of those people who are playing it, but without paying the same kind of respect, or in this case I almost view that as a lack of respect, but without paying that same kind of evenness to a male character and hashing out those relationships as well. So I think that Fire Emblem has a long way to go still, but at least now there are some options. So this way everyone can play the way that they want to play, and they can closely reflect perhaps what their own lifestyle may be. And once we get to that point where you can see yourself and your character a little bit easier, or you can relate to your character a little bit easier, I feel like that's the, that's kind of the end goal that we should all be striving to
Goddess,
for enjoyment in
I
the game.
pray to thee. Please protect us.
Marianne, even though she's not female version of Sleepy McSleeperton, she's someone who is always got like heavy bags under her eyes and always look like there's a lot going on. She looks like a cursed character. And Stephanie's saying, I'm sitting right here. There's no need to talk about me. Right
Hello
to my
there,
face.
Professor. Well, I call you that, but I am afraid I am not a student here myself. Should the opportunity arise, I would love to become a student and begin my studies in earnest. The monastery is kind enough to provide a sanctuary for my brother and I. He's the only family I have. Might you
Blake's
help
gonna
me
give
with a
us our
favor?
last quest here. She wants us to head over to the pond and to try out fishing. So we're gonna rush back over, go speak to the fish keeper, and let's go ahead and fish. So fishing is very straightforward, guys. And actually, believe it or not, it's probably, albeit very time-consuming, one of the better ways to increase your professor level without blowing through the story and without wasting valuable resources. This is going to be more down the line, but fishing is going to end up being your friend. So you select your bait, it casts out. When it vibrates and there's a bite, you hit A, and then you want to line up that circle with that purple circle on your screen. So it starts out really large and it makes its way smaller and smaller. When it lines up, you click it and you try and get a perfect score. Try and hit excellent all the way. The better you are, and if you hit all excellence and you get a perfect score, you'll either get a better fish or more of that fish, and
You have
obviously
helped
that's
me
better
so
for
much.
you in terms of either cooking or in terms of selling it for extra cash. It definitely makes it a lot better. So let's go ahead now. We're going to introduce ourselves to the dining hall so we can now fast travel here whenever we need to. Like I said, we want to make sure we visit everywhere on the map, so this way we can fast travel in the future. We'll go talk to Felix.
I'm busy. Do you want something?
I think he's gonna enjoy me saying that I'm hoping to spar with
I
him.
can't right
and he
now,
will.
but let's fight soon. I look forward to beating you.
Raphael's hungry.
I really need to eat. I can't hold out until the next meal.
Like I said, he's ugly like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but he's not actually one, although he is called Raphael.
Why
and
can't
we
the
are getting
dining hall
pizza,
stay open
so
all the time? I need to keep eating if I want to get stronger.
I find that ironic. Alright, now we want to speak with the dining staff so we can enjoy a meal with some of our housemates here. So let's see what we got. So what you're going to do is, obviously, again, very quick tutorial. You come in, you share a meal, you select the meal. On the bottom left, it shows you who that meal is enjoyed by. Again, the character portrait will relate to what character that is. I always like to I don't remember who likes what, so I just go ahead and select the first one. You find out who is going to get a real good benefit from that. It's going to be the 2 blue arrows pointing up. And if they are not a fan of that dish, like Petra is here, it'll show the 2 red arrows pointing down. You'll see these happy faces, or you'll eventually see like a green smiley face, a yellow smiley face, or you'll see like a gray non-expressive face letting you know what the character's motivation is. And the higher the motivation, the more they will be able to participate when you are personally training them to increase their weapon skill levels. So always try and make sure that when you go to share a meal, that you're trying to line it up with individuals that are part of your team, unless you're trying to build a relationship with someone outside of your team to recruit to your class. you just try and line it up. So for this one, there's only Bernadetta. So I want to try and see if I can find one that has multiple characters from our class. So this one seems to be it is all of our class, the Sogurt and Cream. So when we come back in the future, when that is available to us, we will definitely go ahead and do that. But since we have to do it with just the 2 fish saute, we will select that, and it does show us what who it's enjoyed by. So let's go ahead and select Bernadetta so she can get an increase on her motivation. And then, unfortunately, that's who we're limited to. So just for the purpose of bumping up, hopefully I think it'll bump up Edelgard's motivation too. So we'll do that so we can try and get the most out of using up this time.
Ooh, this is my favorite. You've got great taste.
When I think of the past, it makes me grateful for things like having a nice, relaxing meal.
So that's good. Both of their motivations pumped up all the way to 100%, so that's good. Our professor level just went from E, the lowest level, now to E+. That's normally how this is going to run. It's going to be E, E+, then it's going to be D, D+, C, C+, and so on and so forth. And as it says there, as you increase your professor level, you get more activity points for exploration, you get more funds for activities.
Nice.
You're able to,
I knew I could count on you.
Train your students a little bit more. So it's always important to make sure that you're doing that. So you can see in the upper part of the screen where it just said 0, I have no more activity points for this round, so I can't do anything that's going to be time consuming.
For reading and writing. With sadness, I still have struggles with speaking.
So anytime you run into an NPC that has an hourglass above their head, that means that it's going to require 1 point of your activity points for your time off, and if you're at 0 like I am right now, that means you cannot do anything more. So
if my ways of speech are causing a burden, I hope you will have forgiveness. Listen.
I didn't know if it was going to introduce us to the Amiibo Gazebo yet, but it appears not. Here's the Golden Deer House.
Hi. This is the Golden Deer House. You're in charge of a different class, right? Too bad we won't see more of each other. I'm happy to learn from you if the opportunity comes up.
Our house is that of the Golden Deer. Do you know the significance of that name, Professor? Golden deer are sacred creatures, said to have protected Leicester since time immemorial. All 3 of the houses have a meaning behind their name. You should feel free to ask around if that sort of knowledge interests you.
Hi, Professor. How are you doing? If you're not busy, would you like to join me on a little trip into town? If I'm cooped up in this dusty old monastery for too long, it drives me absolutely crazy.
Right. Before I came to the Officers' Academy, I attended a school of magic in the Kingdom Capital. That's where I met Annie. That's what I call Annette. Oh, I guess Lawrence was at the School of Magic too. But Annie was always just so nice to me, even though I was older. She's my best friend in the world.
Here's the story. The Blue Lion House derived its name from the honorary title of the first king of Fargus. Lug, the king of lions, wore brilliantly blue garments. His chivalric exploits are recorded in multiple legends. The library holds various historical accounts regarding him and the Blue Lions. If you find time, you should read them. They're filled with insights.
Listen, let me tell you the provenance of our class name. The eagle. That refers to the twin-headed eagle on the Adrestian Empire's coat of arms. And black is the traditional color of the Empire's armor. Hence, black eagles.
How very creepy. Alright, so I believe, just for the hell of it, I'm going to check the bulletin board and make sure that we have no other quests to take on other than speaking with Edelgard as the house leader. Let's, again, like I said, I really want to take this time, albeit a little bit of a pain in the butt. I do want to go
Professor.
to all of the different
Have
areas.
you gotten around to visiting the library yet? It's absolutely loaded with valuable information. I only wish I wasn't burdened with the necessity of sleep, so I could spend all my hours there. In a manner, yes, but it's more that I want to learn as much as I possibly can.
This way we can fast travel when we need to.
Do bear in mind that even as you are appraising your students, they are appraising you as well. I hope that you will do your best to form lasting bonds with your flock. Oh, and I look forward to witnessing your prowess in the mock battle.
The church has changed a lot since my time. Sedith, Hanneman, Manuela, Yuritsa, and many of the knights. None of them were around 20 years ago.
So, I forget whose space that is. Doesn't matter for now.
I think.
Here's
A
Manuela's
mock
room.
battle? This early? Wow, Professor. They're not giving you any time to settle in, are they? Don't worry, though. Should you get injured, I will care for you all through your recuperation. I will see to you, oh so very, very personally.
We'll ignore.
Apparently, there is to be a mock
go
battle
hang out
between
with
the
Hanneman.
houses.
Is Hanneman the same voice
but I
actor?
hope you understand that I have far more important things on my mind.
Stephanie's gonna look into that another time.
My research is proceeding slower than I would like. Your crest is something of a challenge. Frustrating, yet also quite intriguing.
It's the Dunmer merchant at that yeah, whatever, they're like the human race, but not the Empire. It's the or the Imperials. It's the I think it actually like goes out of its way to say that they're like the you know, they're good merchants and stuff.
I was wondering if I might get
Or
a
am I
sample of
thinking,
your
are the
flesh.
Dunmers one
A
of the
couple of
elves
square
I'm
inches
thinking
would
of?
do. No, perhaps some blood. A couple of drops on the device are all I need.
No, I don't think so. Maybe? I'm not sure. Captain Nugget saying Bernadetta should get out more. Yes, Bernadetta should get out more, but all she does is just stay in her room. I'm sure if there were video games in this day and age, she'd be playing video games or watching anime all the time. And then Captain Nugget also saying, "Hey Joe, do you think I should get this game? If you're a fan of RPGs and real-time strategy games, and I would say yes. I think Fire Emblem's a fun game for you to have. It can be very challenging, and it's just a great, like I said, RTS. It's like turn-based, although technically is a real-time strategy, also turn-based. It's a turn-based
Captain
strategy game.
Gerald has hardly changed since 20 years ago. I've aged at least 3 times as much as he has. Why am I talking about this? Oh, right. It was because I just overheard Tomas remarking on the subject. The leader of a legendary group of knights returned. People are bound to be talking about the old captain.
Alright, so we got two more people to speak to up here. That's going to be over at the library. I really have no plans on reading all the books in the library right now.
Professor, I hear
Stephanie
you
says
are
that would be
lacking
her.
in knowledge of the Church of Seros.
Should be reading all the books.
The
in the game.
library contains countless documents about the teaching and the history of the Church. I encourage you to make good use of them.
And it does give you the prompt. It says, check the bookshelves to read all sorts of reference materials. It's not a
Hey there.
requirement. It's purely if you want to educate yourself on some of the
Say now.
history.
Tomas
that's
has
leading
served
into
as the
this story.
monastery's librarian for decades. Actually, he was away from Garrigmark for a spell, but he returned to his post last year. There is no one as familiar with the monastery's archives as he is.
Well, Captain Nugget, if you enjoyed Fire Emblem Awakening, I think this is a good, build upon that. They got rid of the triangle system. You still have weapon advantages over the course, so if you have someone who, I believe, gets a B level or higher, you end up getting the weapon advantage. So, if I remember correctly, I think it's oh geez, I forget what the actual triangle is now, but I think sword beats axe, and axe beats lance, and lance beats sword. So it's like rock, paper, scissors. That was very common with Fire Emblem for a long time, and they finally scrapped that to where if you have a character that is facing off against one of their, their weaknesses in the triangle, it's not a death sentence anymore. You can still hold your own, but if you do start to form a mastery in the weapon, you do end up getting your advantage against its appropriate, counterpart. Alright, so we are good on the second floor. We can now make our way down to the first.
I think.
There's a lot of little things to do to get acquainted in this kind of like tutorial that they give you.
Professor!
And you can see there's a lot more for you to explore that's not even unlocked yet, so...
Yes. I hear a member of House Fresfel, the ruling family of the Empire, has entered the Officers' Academy for the first time in ages. It is said that the Adrestian Empire's very founding was aided by none other than Saint Seros. That is why the crest of Seros is on the Imperial flag. In recent years, a rift has developed between the Empire and the Church.
Which we'll hash out a little bit later in the story.
Let us hope this will be a good opportunity for both parties to reforge their close relationship of years past.
A moment, please.
Passed up someone we can speak
Here's an
with.
idea. There are two types of crests. Major crests manifest their power most effectively, while minor crests are slightly weaker.
So we got Ashy saying that they have nearly 666 power tokens, and good job, absolutely. You can, I think you can actually turn those in. I think I allowed you to be able to, use them for different things. So I think if you have like 1,000 tokens, you can ask for us to add you to one of our social media, accounts. So more than happy to do that. I think if it's like 100, you get to ask a question of your choice to us. We're trying to utilize the Streamlabs system that they got there. We figure if you're watching, why not earn? And if you earn, why not there be some form of reward for
It is said that the closer a
watching.
person's blood relation is to various saints and heroes, the higher their chance of bearing a major crest.
So thank you very much for watching as much as you have to get that many coins. And then Captain Nugget says, it's been over a year since I last played, but he goes, I still don't know how many coins I have. I think Stephanie was going to reach out to him and help, or was that my job and I just forgot?
Of course, there are also examples of major crests manifesting in children whose parents bear no crest whatsoever. The exact nature of how and why crests are inherited is still a mystery.
I'll reach out to you after the stream or sometime tomorrow, Captain Nugget, and I will help you with figuring out how to check your coins and how to utilize them as well.
Professor!
Hello. Hello, Professor. I have a teeny tiny question for you, if that's all right.
You haven't seen a man with hair the same color as mine, a scowling face, and a generally gloomy demeanor, have you? I suppose it was silly to ask. Sorry for wasting your time.
Indeed. As part of our commitment to the goddess, the Knights undertake various missions across all of Fodlan. Assisting with the education of young nobles is also a part of our sacred duty.
Here's our friendly neighborhood gatekeeper.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. By the by, have you ever regretted a decision and wished you could go back and undo it?
Yes, it was not too long ago when I had a axe slammed into my back and my spine, and thankfully some weird little anime girl speaking in my ear said, "Hey, I can turn back time," and we totally shared it up, and we turned back the hands of time, and now I'm alive, and I'm here at this place, and welcome to Weird Anime Stories.
It's too bad there's no lesson for how to turn back the old clock, huh? But I suppose a bad decision isn't worth all that fuss anyhow.
Unless you die, then yeah, it's kind of worth some fuss. Alright, looks like I missed a couple of people down towards the pond and the gardening area, so let's go ahead and just talk to them very quickly.
Unbelievable. The Imperial Princess, the Crown Prince, and the heir to the Alliance's leading
Yeah,
house.
I think our pizza might
This
be
is one exceptional
actually
year,
made
that's for sure.
in Italy, and they're going to go and get our Italian pizza. Fun fact: pizza originated.
If you're a teacher here, you
Italy.
better watch your... Well, suffice to say that it could harm the reputation of the Church
I would say
of Saros,
that
which we've spent almost
the
a
pizzas
millennium
that we get around here are
establishing.
so covered in grease that it makes sense. Mwah, mwah. Alright, did I not speak? No, I spoke.
No.
It's Cyril that we didn't speak.
I'm a little busy.
I really can't right now. I got a lot of things to do. Work and stuff like that. Why don't you look at the flowers in the greenhouse instead? They're pretty.
I feel like that's a major shade to throw at someone. You're speaking to basically a young kid, and you're like, "Hey kid," and he's like, "I don't have time for you. I can't speak right now." And you're like, "Are you sure? I don't want to speak with you." The kid goes, "Get lost, go look at some flowers. They're pretty or something, and leave me alone."
Maybe.
Alright, now we got 2 more people to speak with. We'll make the last
Hey there.
one speaking with Edelgard so we can take on the quest that will wrap up everything that we need to do during this downtime.
Professor.
So we've got...
Dimitri and Claude are the leaders of the other 2 houses. Do not underestimate them. When we take the field, it would be best not to engage the both of them at once.
I do not plan on
Listen to
taking
this.
both of them on.
Wow, Yuritsa sure seems strong. I kind of thought he was going to be the new professor assigned to our class. After that teacher ran away during our outdoor training, I figured Yuritsa was a natural replacement. I was surprised when you were suddenly appointed professor instead. I don't think I could hold my own against Yuritsa in battle. I could probably take you, though.
Alright, Caspar, you need to chill out.
You really think so? With enough training, I'm sure I'll beat you someday.
So Stephanie ordered pizza. And the funny part is that the pizza place that we ordered from is actually probably a 2-minute drive, if not like a 6-minute walk from where the this location is that we record from.
I care
and
nothing
it has been an
of
hour
friendship.
since she placed the order, so it's literally would have been a little bit quicker if we had just walked over there and got the pizza.
If you have no business here, leave.
Listen to this.
Some believe the dignity of the Empire rests on the results of the mock battle. That's an overstatement, of course. Still, we must do our best to prevail. You should take the time to learn each student's abilities. Perhaps some extra lessons and training sessions are in order? You look as if you have no idea what's going on here. I know my way around, so I'm happy to help you find your footing.
Alright, so very quickly go through a guide.
The monastery has some exceptional facilities that everyone who lives at the Officers' Academy is welcome to make use of. For example, you can enjoy a meal with your students at the dining hall, or take part in some one-on-one sparring at the training grounds. I suggest visiting the various facilities whenever you have the time to spare. It's a great way to get to know the students, faculty, and various workers here.
Bulletin
Have
boards
you
and
noticed
quests
the
I already went
bulletin
over,
boards
so we
placed
can
in
very
those-
quickly
the
just kind of
bulletin-
flow through that one. Activity
You should
points,
take your time when
I went
speaking
over
if
as
you
well. Everything that has an hourglass above it is going to cost some time, and you only have your limited amount of time
A
and your
great
professor
deal is
level.
expected from professors of the Officers' Academy, so it's important to hone your skills. To put it plainly, you'll need to keep expanding your knowledge of all disciplines, not just battle.
Alright, so now that we're done speaking with the house leader, we can mash that L button and finish exploring. Keep this story moving. We got our mock battle now that we need to take part in. It's also Ferdinand's birthday. We're gonna spend $200 and buy him some nice flowers.
Much appreciated.
Alright, so today is only a mission is what's available, so we're going to do that. It's the Rivalry of the Houses. This is the mock battle that we were talking about. Let's save our file.
It's finally time for the mock battle. This is my chance to measure your worth as an instructor. Do you think you can rise to the challenge?
This is my chance to measure your worth as an instructor. Do you think you can rise to the challenge? Leave it to me. No question
So
about it.
confident. This will be interesting. Each of us has undergone strict training. We're prepared for anything that comes our way. That means there's no need to hold back. Show us what you're capable of.
Hey there. Did we miss our invite to this strategy meeting? No, no worries. We'll just join in now.
Simply tell me your weaknesses and you're welcome to stay. But is there enough time to cover them all?
Ooh, burn.
Ah, so you can't win unless you know my weakness. Poor princess. You really should believe in yourself more.
I spare no effort when pursuing victory. As a master of schemes, I should think you would understand.
We have food.
Schemes?
That I won't
Me?
be able to eat
I
until
have
10 p.m.
no idea what you're talking about. I plan to fight fair and square as ever.
Hearing the words fair and square from Claude can only be a bad omen.
Your Highnesses haven't known me for very long, but you already have me figured out, don't you?
No need to poke fun. I will fight with honor. That said, I will fight to win.
Yes, and the same is true of us. Right, Professor?
If that is how you feel, then I will not hold back.
Oh, how precious. Looks like you and the students have become fast friends.
While I am pleased that you are taking the initiative to acquaint yourself with the students, I'm afraid it's about time for the faculty strategy meeting.
Ah, how time flies. In that case, I'll see you later.
Edelgard, Professor, be careful out there.
Yeah, Stephanie's like, you can watch me eat. So I'm gonna be sitting here playing the game, actually looking beyond, looking at Stephanie going, like Cooper does when we're eating food. I'm just gonna be going, please give me food. That's weirdly enough, that is, Stephanie's right. That's the exact noise that he makes. He will look at you and he'll be like, There's no doggo tonight, so there's no Cooper cam. My apologies, guys. We're not going to be able to put Cooper up. But at least you can get my impersonation of what Cooper does when he's trying to beg for food. Exactly. Alright, so let's look and see what units we have out. We've got Byleth, we've got Edelgard, Ferdinand, Hubert, and Liner. I'm actually going to bump Liner, put out, actually no, we don't have Dorothea with magic yet, so I don't think I'm gonna bring her out. Let's see, we've got sword, we've got axe, we've got lance, and Hubert, what the heck are you doing? Remember when I was talking about grease? Yeah, that's a lot of grease in there. Alright, so I want to have like a well-rounded group here. So I've got a sword, I've got an axe, I've got a lance. Let's throw in Bernadetta for a bow. And then I've got one more that I want to put out there. And since no one seems to be another lance user and there's no magic users, so I will throw out Caspar. Or Caspar. Rock the Caspar. Let's go to the map. I'm okay with the placement of these units.
The mock battle is finally here. Will you lead us to victory?
I'm sure you already understand, but the house that defeats the other two is declared the winner. Incidentally, I'll be overseeing this mock battle, so listen well if you want to.
Stay focused.
So I want to stay out of the way for the archer that's over there, so I'll wait here. I'll have Bernadetta back us up so she can clean up.
I will
there.
prevail.
I'll have Edelgard go into the forest.
Put me in there.
I'll have a second damage dealer right behind her to finish off that archer.
I am Ferdinand von
there.
Eyre.
And then we'll have Ferdinand stay out of harm's way together, but within distance to apply damage if need be.
None of your shallow tactics are required, Claude. Ignatz and I will dismantle the opposition.
Me? But I'm not ready.
Are you making light of our new professor? If you drop your guard, you're gonna get hurt.
So it looks like Manuela is leading the Leicester Alliance, and as it was when I was the Leicester Alliance, it looks like Hanneman is representing Fargus. So that stayed the same despite my picking. So I guess unless you...
Can you move to the front lines? I want to lure the enemy this way.
Unless you pick Fargus, apparently Hanneman is the individual who oversees that house.
Got it, Your Highness. Leave it to me.
Once you finish preparing, make your move. Mercedes? Keep our enemy occupied until then.
Mercedes. It doesn't make any sense to me. Just call her Mercedes. That's how they have it all there. It's Mercedes.
I'm on it.
Oh my. We'll try our best.
So like I said, we have Edelgard over in the forest in order to help with... Okay, let's see if Violet will take out Lorenz, which he won't. So now I'm going to use Bernadetta with her iron bow to dwindle Lorenz's health. Then I will take Violet to take out Lorenz. This way,
as
Violet
expected,
does not receive any damage that he otherwise shouldn't be receiving. He maintains his health, which is what I want to see. We'll go ahead and attack Ash with both of our axe users here. That'll take him out.
Right makes might, right?
And now, finally, I'm actually going to give Ferdinand up close. We'll see whether or not if our
Well
archer
done,
will take
Teach.
him out.
I may have to take this seriously after all.
Ignatz decided to go after Rock the Caspar, which is fine. We'll be able to take him out pretty quickly. Needs to level, although it's minor, but
Yeah, it worked!
Oh. I think that might have picked up on the microphone, by the way. I think it did. I'm not gonna say it, the people heard it. Alright, so this will be the final area that we're able to go before the units can be attacked. So we'll have everybody hang out here for the final turn, so we have the best position to go after Dedu and Dimitri.
Are you really gonna fight two houses?
This is a good opportunity for us. Let's forge ahead.
Alright, so now let's go ahead and go after Dedu. He looks like he can do a number on Edelgard. So let's see how he handles... Ooh, Byleth also. So Dedu is quite the damage dealer here. So I want to try and dwindle him down a little bit. Bernadette is not going to do much damage. Wow. I was not expecting to be able to do this weak on Dedu here. So Dedu's going to be a problem for us. Wow. Alright, so I'm going to handle it. I want to hold on to Byleth at all costs. So I'm going to go after Dedu with Edelgard. I will have her smash. We'll now have Bernadetta attack. I will, in a sense, sacrifice the cast bar, but I will utilize the Vulnerary. Heal him. I will get Byleth over to the forest for some extra protection. And Ferdinand is just having a difficult time. We'll have him do a Tempest Lance over on Dimitri. We're gonna lose a couple of units in this one. Not what I wanted, but we kinda gotta work with what we got. So Caspar's gonna be the first one to go. I just need to make sure that I have enough. Alright, so actually Edelgard's the first to go. That's a bummer.
To be left behind.
Pretty important. I'm glad I'm not doing the classic mode because she might be dead. I don't know if you lose people in the mock battle if they really do die in real life, but yes, if you die in the game, you die in real life. Alright, so I want to get rid of Dimitri and Dedu, without a doubt. So, that dude, alright. Stephanie's like, it sounds like you're saying that
You're a tough opponent.
So I'm going to take out Dimitri and then I'm going to take out that dude.
Another step forward. My training was insufficient.
Can Bernadetta take out that dude? Yes, you can. I don't know. Utilize
I'll be
that
fine.
as an opportunity to take out this fort's going to Mercedes.
Now.
Or not. That's what I get. She's gonna take out Caspar. Oh no, she healed herself. Lovely.
You see that?
Alright, so she's
amazing.
good. Let's get some healing going on here. So they can survive and be able to actually help.
Coming up with brilliant schemes I can handle, no problem, but I'm not much for fighting.
You know that was a joke, right? Jeez, not so much as a smile.
Alright, so we're gonna go right at Claude. Hopefully that doesn't prove to be the bane of my existence, so. Weller's not very strong, so Violet will remain alive. Alright, Claude's gone.
Careful now.
I will now... Actually, I'm not really worried about Manuela, so I do want to save her if I can. That's not good for me. Let's see if we can damage her first. With Bernadetta. Bernadetta's still alive. That means we can take out Hilda here. So, what's your health right now, Hilda? Hilda's 21 HP. Means you would die. Alright, let's hope that he misses. It's got a 25% chance of hitting. And that means we're good. She's down.
You fought well.
Alright, so... Manuela's I'm not worried about. She's gonna have a small amount of damage. She's gonna take out Caspar. But that's fine. Manuela's gone.
That is that.
Violet is now level
Such
4. And now we can actually take the
So,
time to
you've made it past Manuela.
heal up and go after the other professor. So you are set. You can go there. He's not going to attack us. You can go there. You can heal. Actually, no, I'm not worried about the big thing because you're going to be in the sidelines. And then it's about getting Violet to be healthy again. Which we get a whole bunch of healing items, so let's use those. Turn.
Be mindful.
Heal one more time. Now we should be good. Go after Henneman now. I'm just gonna use Bernadetta to sit in the,
Stay focused.
background while we go after him. And that'll do it.
Goodness. The leadership
The mock
of
battle is
someone
over
with
and we are
actual
victorious.
battle experience is... well,
You fought well.
That's definitely correct.
All right, that's that. The winner of this mock battle is... the Black Eagle House.
Even though it was just a mock battle, we defeated both houses masterfully. Take pride in this victory, everyone.
all of our allies' motivation increased. Yay. Alright, let's save. See what they have in store for us next.
Excellent work today, Professor. Though our victory should come as no surprise.
Do I admit a little bit of vulnerability and say it was a close call, or do I say it was easy? I'll say it was a close call.
Was it? I'm not sure I agree with that.
That was impressive, Professor. Impressive. We gained a victory because of your great leadership.
We were this close to not making it.
We certainly did. We all tried our best, of course, but we couldn't have won without you.
I was curious what it would look like if you did not hold back, and you did not disappoint.
I dare say we owe our victory to Lady Edelgard.
How so? For that battle, she was only a soldier following our professor's command. Sure, she was an incredibly powerful soldier.
Who fell in battle.
Don't worry about it too much, Linhardt. All that matters is that we won.
I'm all done with being on the battlefield, okay? I'd rather stay back than pursue victory out there.
You were all as ridiculous as always. We only managed to win because we worked together. Was it something I said? Is it so odd, me talking about togetherness? If so, that perception must change. In fact, I'm canceling the festivities so we can discuss this topic further. I'm kidding, of course. Come on, everyone. We've earned this celebration.
Your work with the students was remarkable. I can see Gerald trained you well. I do hope you were able to use the occasion to bond with the students. I'm so happy to hear it. Nothing would please me more than if you used this coming year to grow closer still.
Of course, the mock battle was mere practice. The real fight is the Battle of the Eagle and Lion, which will take place during the Wyvern Moon. You are expected to properly train your students so as not to humiliate the Academy during the long-held tradition that is the coming battle.
As for today, I have called you here to tell you of your mission for the month ahead. Your class is to dispose of some bandits causing trouble nearby.
Those affiliated with Garreg-Mach Monastery have a moral obligation to help those in need, regardless of social standing. Students are no exception. Each month before the newly birthed moon departs, each house of students must complete their assigned mission. You shall work to complete the task at hand alongside your students and report back to the Archbishop before the deadline. Understood? I will soon provide you with the necessary details for your first mission. If I told you now, I expect you would only forget, and I despise repeating myself.
You're gonna have to take that motto on yourself, Stephanie. The guy said, if I told you now, I'd expect you would only forget, and I despise repeating myself.
I can sense something special within your heart. I have high hopes for you.
Bandits, they say. Do you recall when we first met? You shall not fall so shamelessly again, correct? Have you no words for me? Do not tell me that you are shocked to hear from me.
I don't know, you're a young lady that's inside my head and speaking to me, so I mean, that's kind of, schizophrenia. I'd be a little worried.
You ought to know that I am always with you now. To hear my voice should not come as a shock.
What is this nonsense? All I was told was to kill as many noble pipsqueaks as possible. No one said anything about the Knights of Damned Saros being on our trail.
You have proven yourself worthless, distracted by something so trivial.
An award for the worst voice for any leading baddie in a video game goes
I had
to...
hoped you would achieve your goal despite the setback. But now a child of the Knight's former captain is in play. How interesting.
it's not well done. I'm sorry, whoever voiced this character. It's just, again, like Stephanie's saying, like, it sounds like he's speaking through a fan, but it just doesn't fit the character.
I had hoped you would achieve your goal despite the setback, but now a child of the Ninth former captain is in play. How interesting.
It's just not well done.
Hey, this isn't what I agreed to!
Hiring a mercenary as a professor. What was that woman thinking?
Are you listening to me? How do we finish this?
You die.
Only not right now.
What?
Underestimating the Knights was an amateur mistake. One you will pay for. The road to eternal torment awaits you all. Now I must locate your replacements.
Wait! Get back here! Damn you!
I much prefer a more like, you know, badass baddie that would have been like, you failed me, and then offed him right there, but it just wouldn't make it so we had another battle where we have to face him again. That'd be too easy.
Part 1. White Clouds. Harpstring Moon. Familiar scenery. In honor of the saints whose births or deaths took place under this moon, the people perform music once beloved by those divine beings. Whether by harp, by flute, or voice alone, joyous melodies are shared between farmers as they sow their seeds across the vast plains of Tailteen and Gronder.
Again, I am a fan of the art and that's in between when you're dealing with the different chapters and subparts. It is pretty interesting. Obviously, if you guys haven't caught on by now, you're just with me tonight. I am going to be streaming for a little while longer. We're not going to go to our usual 10 o'clock because it is just me that's going to be with you. I'm not going to be passing the baton over to Stephanie. Obviously, I would have did that 52 minutes ago if we were. So my apologies to Ashley. I'm sure Ashley is disappointed. And Stephanie says hello, but she will be here on Wednesday to play Sims 4 and continue her Black Widow challenge. So we got $2,000 from the church for this month's
As you
activities.
have already been notified, your mission is to subdue some bandits.
And we're told at the end of the month we're going to go kill those bandits.
Our students have been learning about combat through study, but this is a precious opportunity to provide them with practical experience.
Which they do address this when we get to it, probably not during the stream, but the reality of having children that are, you know, between the ages of, you know, 15 and 17 going out and actually killing people. This is like a very weird, you know, kind of, I guess, alternative fake fantasy reality kind of whatever situation, but they do go over the gravity, you know, during that moment of, you know, it does work the kids a little bit to where they're, you know, battling their inner, you know, piece of coming to...
The Knights will support your mission and are prepared to offer their assistance if necessary. In short, this is no mock battle. You must be prepared for anything. You will receive a message from the Knights when it is time to depart. Until then, use your time wisely.
The last time we fought bandits, you saved me. Maybe I can return the favor this time. The Knights are well aware of our enemy's strength. We can count on them to keep the battlefield under control for us. It seems unlikely that we would lose. Still, let's do all we can to prepare.
You seem well. Are you adjusting to life at the monastery? Oh, I didn't expect that answer. When we were mercenaries, I handled everything. Outside of battle, you didn't have much contact with people, did you? I thought being thrown into a swarm of noble brats to teach would be a bit much for you, but I guess I had nothing to worry about. By the way, I heard about those bandits. Your first assignment is to take them out, right? That's fairly routine for you by now, but don't forget it's the first real taste of battle for those brats. It'll be tougher to sleep at night if you let one of your little pupils die. So stay vigilant and lead them well.
Yeah, Ashy, I'm thinking about calling it a night probably around 9:30, so I'm gonna cut it probably 30 minutes short than what I normally would do. I would go until 10. Like I said, I'm not passing the baton to Stephanie to play Sims 4 from 8 to 10 like we normally would today. So you're stuck with me for the rest of the time, and I do want to.
I wish I could offer you my support, but Lady Rhea won't allow it.
And I'm hungry. Yeah, Stephanie's reminding me that I had to watch her eat the pizza as she was doing that. So unless I were to transfer the controller and headset over to her to wrap up the final, and she's looking at me like I don't want to do that. So I think I'm stuck
For now,
here.
I'll try to figure out what
looking
she
at
wants
pizza
from
with
you.
my mouth watering until 9:30.
I don't mind you settling into your life here, but don't let your guard down. Ever.
Alright, let's see. Someone's birthday. Annette's birthday. That's one of ours, I think. Maybe, maybe not.
Thank you.
Either way, she loved the birthday flowers. Always buy the birthday flowers, people. I think that might have also picked up on the microphone, so congratulations. Okay. So now things are starting to pan out a little bit on your monthly calendar. It shows you what you have available to do. In this case, we can only explore, but it does show that we can go to the marketplace now. If you go to the armory, obviously you're able to buy equipment for your characters, or the convoy. If you go to the item shop, you're able to buy exactly almost as it is items. In this case, you know, shields. You've got healing items. You've got seals to not those seals, not the ones that go arf arf arf, but the seals to up your class, to get to the next level of your class that you are hoping to unlock. Battalion comes later, a little bit later in the game, and Blacksmith a little bit later after that. So we're going to explore. It appears there's some kind of event going on with fishing and with the cafeteria. So those are two areas we're going to want to check out. And it does give you the reminder that if you press the R button to open the map and select your destination, you can fast travel now, which is the reason why I wanted to make sure that I went out of my way to visit everywhere, so this way I could just fast travel to everywhere. Alright, so let's speak
Would
to
you
this
kindly
person.
do
They're going to want
something
us
for me?
to... is this the one where they want us to cook something together? Not sure. Alright, everybody seems to be in pretty good spirits, so I'm not too worried about utilizing that just yet. So let's go ahead and transfer fast travel to the cathedral. Oh no, I haven't been to the cathedral yet. That doesn't sound right. I feel like I've been there. So I guess we'll have to rush over to the cathedral. Oh, fun fact, if you are roaming around the monastery and you see these little blue auras that are in your line of sight, go ahead and interact with them. They are either items for you to add to your inventory, or they are lost items that you can return back to the individuals on the campus.
That said,
So we're going to rush over to the cathedral, which
let's see.
Perhaps I did not go and visit, but we're going to go do that now. So, Ashley's saying that they're okay with no Sims today. Me too. I'm glad that I can get a little extra time playing with you guys. Alright. Stephanie's like, and I'm glad I got some extra time with that pizza.
I have a favor to ask.
Alright, a passion for music. And what's the other quest that we're gonna get from Seth?
Inside the cathedral, there is a chapel dedicated to the four saints. Saint Indec, Saint Macule, Saint Keyhole, and...
Saint Setlene! Who is your favorite, Professor?
Now that you are a member of the church, be sure to familiarize. I have something to ask of you.
Yeah, Stephanie brings up a good point that it's a weird church when you've got children who are weaponized as people to go out into battle. Not exactly what I'd consider to be
It is the duty of every Fodlan noble to demonstrate piety towards... Have you also come to offer your prayers to the goddess, Professor? You don't sound terribly sure. Perhaps you are not of no...
Alright, I'm not a really big fan of Lorenz. I have to deal with him enough as I play the Golden Deer Path, so not really in a rush for that. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, Ashy. Whatever you can do.
The Knights of Saros are also known as the Shining.
It's greatly appreciated.
We are the
anyway,
sword and
so
shield of the
glad
divine
to
Saros.
have you here with us again. Always a pleasure.
There are many orders of knights in the world, but we are the only one that has the honor of bearing the name Saros. As a member of the church, you should probably study up on the history of Saros and the knights.
Alright, I think we want to go over yonder.
Hi.
Not Yondu. Yonder.
Let me see.
Here we are.
Frigid, Elmira, Thusker. Even people from far-off lands gather here at the Academy. Word of advice, Professor. There are those who don't think kindly of such people.
Hello.
What the?
Stephanie's pointing out that
Perhaps.
when she's playing
For
games,
some students,
in the
this will be
meantime,
their
I
first
play
time
games.
stepping
And
onto a
when
real
I'm playing
battlefield.
games, in the meantime, she plays games.
It's important that they're mentally prepared. As for me, do I look green to you? Is there anything else you wish to ask me about regarding spending your time at the monastery or battles?
So,
Just as
I am gonna
students have
very
much to
quickly
learn from other
plow
students, you should
through the remaining parts. Faculty training is exactly what it is. You as faculty are training. You're going to the other professors. You are then learning from them and what they master in to help quicker gain experience in areas
Which
that you
house a
otherwise
student
wouldn't.
is assigned to depends
Recruiting
on
is
so
going to be
if
very
you become
straightforward too. So if you have a person from another class that you want to join up in your class, you have an opportunity to be able to do that. However, you need to focus on certain skills. So you just basically would go ahead and go up to one of those individuals and ask them if they want to join. And if obviously if you're brand new
Professor,
to the new file,
hey, do you know how old Captain Gerald is?
it's going to let you know that they're not going to join, but they'll tell you what that particular student wants to see in order to join the class. So work on increasing that particular stat, and then once you reach a certain proficiency level, I think it's like C and some of them are B. If you reach C or B level, and then you go and re-ask them again, that should be enough in order to be able to get them to come and join your class.
That's enough, Leone. If I don't know, how could my child know?
It's not normal to forget your own age, you know. It's kind of worrisome, actually.
By the time you're forgetting your own age, you're past the point of caring.
I guess if you put it that way, you've got a point.
I have a request.
Alright, so let's go back over to the cathedral, turn in this quest that we have here.
So, well done. You have my thanks.
there's something else. Professor!
Now we want to make our way over to the dormitory on the first floor.
Oh, Professor, hello. I was just looking for my... Well, it's like a pale blue cloth. Have you seen it? Okay.
Right, I think that one takes care of that. We can head back to the cathedral. We have our list of people who want to take part in the choir practice. We can return that over to the choir coordinator.
My savior, thank you.
Stephanie said, "Now don't forget, children, after 10 past... What is it?
Here's
10
an
past
idea.
what? Gotcha.
Well.
After 10 past killing people, we will have choir practice." That's what you get in a game like this, and that's kind of how it goes. Check out the bulletin board, see if there's anything else. Creative cuisines we can still do, so we'll go ahead and tackle that one. Captain Nugget, I know you want to find out how many coins you have. I will reach out to you after this stream. You have my word on that, so I will help you in terms of getting that going. So, just because I am a little bit of a dum-dum, I need to check my quest and just confirm exactly what I need to do. You might even try your hand at cooking once you have permission to, which is now I have permission. Has not been unlocked yet. How do I unlock?
I've got to find out everyone's likes and dislikes so I know. How about you, Professor? Do you like sweet or spicy food? Spicy? Ooh, your tastes are so mature. I'll definitely remember that.
Is it on the second floor, perhaps, that I need to go?
Hey, you.
Thanks for your help.
So we have the tactic primer from Geralt. We now have our battalions, I believe, is what we just ended up receiving. We now have the tantalizing cookbook, the illustrated cookbook,
Lovely.
and there should be one more over here,
I can't believe it.
and the classic cookbook. So now we can report back to the head chef so we can cook. Go to the dining hall, fast travel there.
Right.
And now we
You're
have
a
the
lifesaver.
So now we need to pick someone to cook with us. So let's pick someone that we share the house with. So Bernadette is the only option. So we will do King of Beast Steak because we have a Dusker bear that we can cook. So there you go. We're gonna cook some burr.
Sounds fun. Let me show you my cooking talent. A little more secret spice, and hey, no peeking!
So all allies received a temporary +3 to their health points. We bumped up our rapport with Bernadette. That, I believe, are all the quests that we had available to us for today. We have, however, one more activity point that we can spend, so let's use that to bump up some of our housemates, or at least our classmates' motivation. So Dorothea could use a small bump. Ferdinand, Casper, Hubert, and Petra. So let's see if we can get Dorothea and Petra under the same item of food that they both enjoy. So nothing that we currently have unlocked fits both of them, so we'll try and focus on Dorothea, and I'm gonna go with Ferdinand.
Food tastes best when you are sharing it with others. Do you not think so, Dorothea?
Yes. Present company excluded, of course.
Stephanie's continuing to rub salt in my wound. You got Ferdinand here being like, oh, isn't it great when you get to share food with people? And Stephanie's like, well, my pizza all by myself, pretty good. So inviting your students out for a bite to eat is a good way to increase your professor level, but obviously it comes at the expense of, yes, footing the bill, Stephanie says, but it also comes at the expense of one of your activity points. And obviously, like I was saying before, that the most effective way without spending too much of your precious resources, that is time here, is to actually just buy bait, which becomes available a little bit further on in the game, and then using that time to fish. So here is Shamir Moore.
Have we met?
Actually, like I said, it's not actually Shamir Moore. It's the person's name is Shamir, and like I was saying earlier in the stream, yes, Stephanie's like, isn't that the guy from Criminal Minds? Yes, actually what I said earlier was when you're introduced to Shamir, at least by word in the game, you're not sure what Shamir looks like, and then here comes this female-like ninja person, and I was expecting Shamir Moore from Criminal Minds and SWAT, so
you remind me of someone
disappointed. I know. She said she would be disappointed too, so makes sense. All right, so like I said last time, we planted the that dude seeds. We can now harvest. That's what we got for our reward. We got chickpeas, onions, cabbage, turnip, and experience. Now we can plant some seeds. We've got a whole bunch of mixed herb and fodlin and root vegetable seeds, but we can only plant one at a time for right now. That'll increase as we increase our professor level. So let's do a mixed herb seed. We'll cultivate that. Like I told you, we're able to add some stuff to it. For example, you could pour this air mid-war. No idea what that is, but it doesn't really change, it appears, the predicted yield. So I'm just going to infuse with magic, and then we're good for the garden. Anytime, like I said, you're exploring around and you see something blue, you're going to want to interact with it. It's usually either experience, an item, sometimes both. We'll actually fish, since we have a chance to fish right now. Like I said, you'll feel a vibration, you have to hit the A button, then you have to line up the circle. There you go. You get excellence, you'll hit perfect, and you'll end up getting either a higher quality fish, or you'll get more totals of the same fish that you would have otherwise got if you end up getting a good level ranking. Caledonian Gar. So you don't get a lot of experience, so it's important to note that that's kind of just the lay of the land when you're, or at least the lay of the pond is you're kind of just forced to go little by little by little, making little progress. So you can see there, I unfortunately ended up getting a few goods on that, so I didn't get as good of a reward as I would have otherwise got. That's what I get for looking at the camera and trying to speak to you while also lining up these circles, but that's just excuses for bad performance. So if you haven't noticed by now, there is a pattern of what's going on. That being that when you do get that initial vibration and you do hit the A button, what ends up happening is that you'll see a logo for the fish, or at least the type of fish that you're going to get. For that one, you notice that there was a yellow fish icon that appeared, and that means that it's a golden fish. So you'll see it when I have this one happen. Right, blue, you see that appear? So it's a large fish shadow. Finished out strong. Another perfect. And that's it. So you can see it. It does not get you a lot of experience, but the point is that you're not wasting one of your resource points for that could be used to bump up your students' motivation, which means that you'll be able to train them a little bit more. It really ends up netting you a positive at the end. It's a lot. There might actually be a day where maybe perhaps I do you know, a grind on just fishing, and that's going to be so boring. I don't expect anyone to tune in, nor would I blame you. So. But there may be a day like that.
Reminds me.
We're gonna continue looking around. Right, Stephanie's like, wouldn't it be funny if that's your most popular stream? Just watching me fish on Fire Emblem 3 houses. I might not even show up for that stream. Yeah, you're gonna do that for 4 hours?
Here's an idea.
Professor.
Alright, so I only came in here for the purpose of looking to see if there was any lost and found or items to pick up. I'm doing, because I like to, each month comes with different items that you can collect on the campus. So if you don't collect it within that month during your downtime, you miss it and you have to wait until I think the next possible year to get that item. You've heard of the Nutty Professor. We now have the Salty Professor. We've watched his fiancée eat pizza in front of him. Alright, so I feel pretty good. This is the last item I'm going to pick up. And we can call it a day for my free time. Now I get to show you guys what your lesson plans look like.
Have you not been told what's expected from lectures here? Well, I can tell you how it works based on what I've heard from other professors.
Alright, so
Before
they
starting
have
a lecture,
basically
it's a good idea
quick
to
tutorial that you
determine
can go
everyone's
through,
academic goals.
But generally what this is that all of your students are going to have goals of things that they want to accomplish. It's really a balancing act between trying to figure out what they want to do and what might benefit them, because what they might benefit from in terms of becoming a more well-rounded character might not be what they want to focus on.
Probably
So you instruct them on figuring out what
students would not have
they should be working on. Your characters may come up to you
How
and ask
motivated a
or
student
tell
is
you
will
what they
affect
would
how
like
to help. Please try.
for their goals to be,
At the
and you can
Officers
follow that or
Academy,
you
if
can
you
not
instruct-
follow that. Group task focus on 3 particular items, and that is, I believe, horse riding experience, flying experience, and I believe there is another one which may be heavy armor. I'm not
Have you
entirely
heard about the
sure about
certification
that.
exam?
And
Everyone,
then once
in
you
order
reach
to take care to
certain
develop
qualifications for different classes, you can take what we call a certification exam. So let's go ahead and go over our lesson plan. We're going to instruct our students. We have 3 students that we can work on. I normally like to make sure that I am focusing on my stronger characters, so for me that definitely is Edelgard, and for her, very quickly I can show you. You can see you have on the left hand side the icon for what skill it is. You can see next to that, to the right of that, is the experience bar for that and the level of that. In this case, Edelgard is an E+ for her sword. She's a D for her axe. If it has the blue arrows facing up, then that is a strength of theirs. If it's red arrows facing down, it is a weakness. If it is a finger pointing up like this, that is a professor expertise. In this case, Byleth is an expert in sword, in brawl, and I believe in authority. Eventually, I think authority opens up, but for right now, it's just showing sword and brawl. And the general idea is that you may run into a situation where you see these 3 stars next to the character on one of the skills. And here is reason, so this would be for your magics, not your healing magics, and there is essentially, if you level this up and they proceed to do well in learning about this, if you hit those 3 stars, that now becomes a strength of the individual. It's something that they can continue to really grow upon as if it was a strength for them. Sometimes with characters like Lysithea, it's something that is a weakness for her. So for her, sword was a weakness, not good in it. But if you worked on it hard enough, it now becomes a strength, and she ends up getting some very specific and special skills that she otherwise wouldn't have. So Edelgard is an axe user. I'm going to continue to bump up
nothing
her
worth
axe
celebrating.
skills. If you get it perfect, the first time you get to praise them, it
Praise
increases their
isn't
motivation. So essentially, it's a
nothing
free,
worth celebrating.
training. After that, every other perfect is just increase in experience. You don't get to rebuff that. So you have perfect and you have good, similar to
Nothing worth
what you had in the
celebrating.
fishing. Only here has a great. So it goes perfect, it goes great, it goes good. See, I've never encountered a bad, so
Nothing
I
worth
don't know if that
celebrating.
exists or not. I don't think so. Alright, who do I want to work on next? I think we're going to do Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra, because one, Edelgard's going to be our damage doer. Dorothea, I want to get her bumped on magic. This shows that healing, and this is kind of what I was explaining before with Lysithea over on the House of Leicester, is that this is a weakness for Dorothea, you know, the healing arts, but if you work on it hard enough, she'll eventually turn that into a bonus. So what we'll do is we will focus on reason for now, just because that's going to be where she gets the biggest bang for her buck. And then second to that, I think, is going to end up being the sword, just because not only is it a strength for her, but it's also the expertise for the professor, so it makes it a little bit easier. There's
Everything
that
went
great that we were talking about. Give us a perfect.
I
so we
appreciate-
can get a free here. There we go.
I got it. You're quite the I appreciate.
All right, good. Now, Petra. So Petra, like I said, someone who is very melee forward. I view her being as kind of like a Pegasus Knight, some kind of situation like that in the future. So she has experience with swords, is where her mastery seems to lie. So let's see. Oh, I was correct. It does show the professor's expertise under authority, but if they have a higher ranking than you on that particular skill, or you're on the same level, it's not a professor expertise bonus. So that's something important to note, because I forgot about that. So she's got a D for flying and a D plus for sword. So let's focus on flying.
You're... I have understand.
Bonus here.
You are giving... Your guidance with...
Great. So that's everything that I got for this session. I think that's a good start for instructing everybody. There's also auto instruct, which will automatically train area focus skills for some of the units that you have. We'll now go to the group duties. You've got riding skills, heavy armor skills, and flying skills. I was correct on that one. So Petra, like I said, is kind of who I'm hoping to eventually make a, kind of like a Pegasus Knight situation. But if I had to think of someone else who might end up being on there is, let's see. I would say maybe Edelgard, just because maybe perhaps we can get her to be a Wyvern Knight or something like that. So we'll have Edelgard jump in unless I can get a better ranking from somebody else. So that's it. So we'll have Edelgard jump in. Set of unit skill goals. I think we are good with that. So I'll let them come to me if they want to make any changes.
Question for you.
Alright, so Hubert Creeper McCreeperton says, such interesting ideas you seem to have, Professor, but tell me this. What would you do if you were given the task of teaching a subject that you yourself did not understand? I'd do my best to explain the gist, at least. I'd take the time to study the subject before teaching it, or no such subject exists. So if you want to be cocky, you can select the last one. If you kind of want to be nonchalant, you can select the first one. However, the middle ground is the way for me, which is I take the time to study the subject before teaching.
That was surprisingly reasonable.
That was surprisingly reasonable. Yeah, right? Stephanie said that's basically, anyone who's ever met Joe ever is going, that's surprisingly reasonable.
I will not be a burden. I will be doing my best for Lady Edelgard.
Party all the time. Because I'm unreasonably reasonable.
Don't worry, Petra. There is no use in fearing failure.
Like, even for me, I'm like, getting, hey, you should end the stream at 9 so you can eat. And I'm like, no, we usually go to 10, so let's make it 9:30, right in the middle.
It is my duty to help others when
your
necessary.
Watch is just fast. It's 9:27.
Petra, our teamwork has yielded a report for the professor.
The Empire and Brigid, working with each other. The future has hope.
Alright, so we get a perfect rating for the Skywatch. The support points between the two increase. We received 1,000 gold. And we got smithing stones, which will come in handy a little bit later in the future.
I'm getting closer.
I'm a quick study.
We can bump through that. It's Raphael's birthday. I ordered him a pizza so I can eat it. Because I'm not getting to eat mine. Actually, I got him birthday flowers. Always buy the birthday flowers. I think with this, just because this is a good place for me to stop, I think this is where I'm going to save, and I think this is where we are going to call it a night. I hate to kind of rush in order to finish it, but what we'll do is I will scooch my way over here. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It was an absolute pleasure. Captain Nugget 14, like I said, I do give you my word. I am going to reach out to you in order to help you to figure out how to access your power tokens so you can utilize them using the Streamlabs app that is tied with our stream. Other than that, again, thank you for everyone who watched us tonight. Thank you for everyone who participated in the chat. Again, Captain Nugget 14, Ashy, always a pleasure to see you as well. Again, I know I say this every single time, but when you work a 9 to 5 and you sometimes have some stressful days, I know at the beginning of the stream I had to actually go BRB for a couple of minutes. I had to put up the screen, which I normally don't like to do. Work sometimes calls even when it's almost 7 o'clock at night. But the point is that when you do have a job and you like to do something to de-stress at the end of the day, and for me, it is definitely video games, and it's even that much more enjoyable when I get to do that and share that experience with you guys. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please follow our stream if you haven't had a chance to do so. If you're looking for past streams, head over to our videos on demand here on Twitch. If, for whatever reason, because of our 14-day limit, because we're not yet affiliate, and you are looking for previous streams, head over to our YouTube page. Our YouTube channel has all of our previous streams for you guys to enjoy. If you're there, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications from Power Couple. And please check down below for all of our social media accounts is there as well. So go ahead and send us a message if you'd like. That's one of the ways I'm going to try and reach out to you, Captain Nugget. So thank you very much for that. I hope I can help you get through that so you can access those coins. With that said, guys, I hope you're able to have a great night. Until Wednesday, have a good one.